Hey, this is Max, and welcome to the Ronin System podcast. We're back with another Battle Buddies. I can't even remember which one this one is, but why don't you guys introduce yourselves? We got...
I'm Edgar, back for, I believe, the third time, possibly. Yeah.
It's Ahmed, and I think this is my fourth or fifth time. I don't remember, but it's definitely the third time with Edgar.
It's got to be more, right?
Yeah, maybe like 5 or 6 times now.
Yeah, well, anyway, another Battle Buddies. We also got... Why don't you describe what this is?
A little Elijah Craig small batch bourbon. Something to get the confidence up and the conversation flowing.
Get the volume going, too.
Yeah.
Make it louder. Ahmed doesn't need any. He's already pretty loud. We got to talk about the bottle that came in, though.
Yeah, it came in a glass tube, actually, which is interesting because it's only 3 ounces, which is perfect because half an ounce a piece and the tube's empty.
How much was it?
I believe it was $10.
$10 from where?
From State Line Liquors, right across the border from
not Frugal
just South Carolina. No, not Frugal McDougal. I don't know if Frugal McDougal has it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty good. It tastes like everything else they have, but
yeah,
it's pretty good. We also got the fights on. Who is that? Oh, Shane Burgos.
He's pretty good. He's got some he goes to the body really well from what I've seen.
What do you think of the Apex Center? Do you like that format, the smaller format?
Is that in Jacksonville?
No, the Apex is in Vegas. I gotta prop this up.
Oh, so they're doing these in Vegas now.
Yeah.
Wait, it's just a smaller venue?
Yeah, so it's where they do Dana White's Contender Series.
Okay.
And where they used to do the Ultimate Fighter. So the cage is actually smaller. It's like
it looks smaller.
Yeah, it's like 15-20% smaller. And people like it because it guarantees more I mean, I can't say guarantees, but it creates more finishes.
Okay. So it slows down the running around.
Yeah. So you can't really do any of that Adesanya Romero
shit.
shit.
To cut off the curve.
Exactly. Especially for like the heavier weights, which I mean they already have a lot of finishes anyway, but should be more. I also like the no noise.
No crowd noise in the background.
Yeah, because it just sounds.
But they still have commentators.
Yeah, they still have commentators, but you know the no crowd is what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it makes it feel more not professional, but I guess ultimate fightery.
You don't miss the random dude with the tap out shirt and the wig just yelling like slamming. Yeah.
You guys ever watch that fight? They kick him in the dick.
No.
I think it was God, it was like Sam Alvey or something. They were like in a pause, like just kind of staring each other down, and some random dude in the crowd goes, "Kick him in the dick."
It's like that's a live mic.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because they both stopped and they're just like, "All right, let's take a second, let's recollect."
The other thing too is I don't think you get the same emotion out of the commentators without the crowd that you would get. Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, with all the screaming, yeah, but
yeah.
Sorry, that's the dog here. She's like right in my crotch.
Later, get out of there.
No, it's fine. I like it.
So I know this has been kind of going on for a while now, like just about fighters' pay and specifically in the UFC. But I don't know if you guys keep up on it. It's on fire right now.
Oh yeah,
with
John Jones, right?
With John Jones,
There's
and then he's been obviously like, you know, he's really. Which I'm all for him doing that, you know. Like I think it makes sense that he wants to get paid as much as possible. But there's also been some really crazy stuff with respect to like Gray Maynard talking about his take home purses from his fights and like how much of it he really really got.
Yeah.
So have you seen those stories?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them.
Yeah, where
I've seen a breakdown on some fighters. But at the end of the day, like that stuff you negotiate that, right? Like you as a fighter negotiate.
Well, the thing is, a lot of their horror stories are coming from the side of the UFC where they're just like kind of strong arming them. Oh. Like they'll call them like the day before the announcement and be like, take it or leave it.
Gotcha.
They'd be like, this is how much you're going to get. Like, for example, $5,000. You're going to get $5,000 to show and win and take it or leave it, you know? And then if you don't take it, then the next one's, you're not going to get the next one, you know? So
we're not talking about the guy that they're like, hey, it's $80,000, you show, and he already knows I got to pay $40,000 to my coach So I'm 40 grand down.
Yeah.
And then like the guy that does my food, he's 10 grand. That's 30 grand for me. And
yeah, I mean the whole concept of it is pretty shitty because they don't have a union, which would help them get like at least like a minimum pay.
Right.
You know, like kind of like the
like
the
the NFL,
Screen
like,
Actors Guild. You know how they
yeah,
have a minimum pay for the actors on screen,
minimum
based on
pay
screen
and
time.
like benefits, right? They don't have health benefits.
I'm not sure about
I don't know
the
about health
SAG,
benefits
but
because you get. I mean, you're in different shows, different movies. Like everybody's going to provide benefits. I don't know.
They provide a
Could be.
minimum pay based on screen time, but
For the
aside
NFL,
from that-
I think they provide a minimum salary, and then you also get benefits.
Right, but I think like health benefits wise.
As an actor?
No, like just fighters in general. Like
fighters
if
definitely.
fighters should get it for
They're
sure.
not. They're paying for their own. Is what I'm saying. Is like why can't they get that through like?
I mean, the real issue is here that without a union, they're just independent contractors.
the union,
Right.
the
That's the
union,
big thing.
Exactly. The union can fight for them to get those
Yeah.
benefits from the promotions that they're in.
Yeah, but
It's part of their cost.
it's going to take someone with either a lot of money and a lot of influence, or like a whole change in the system based on like literally everyone getting in there.
Well, not only that, where's the money going to come from? These fighters have
exactly.
to then end up putting money in. Like an HOA type of deal. You know what I mean? The only way we have a big account to pay for something is if everybody chips in.
The problem, I think, so John Jones has kind of been speaking up about this, and like for sure, and like
he's also getting paid the most.
He's getting paid the most, but here's his problem. Like I understand what he's doing. I feel like he's probably his heart is in getting the right place in terms of yes, he's wanting to take care of himself, but
just
like
not his nose.
But yeah, like that's the point. Like he's almost the wrong guy to fight that fight for you if you're the rest of the fighters that are out there because of his history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like he's got this history of however, so like the public eye, he's not that really good. Kind of like we were talking about like with Kyrie. Like he may be saying some good things, but if I'm the NBA PA, do I really want that guy talking for me?
No.
Yeah, but who would you have though?
Chris Paul. Oh, for the NBA?
for MMA?
NBA, I think LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
LeBron.
But for like MMA or even just UFC specific, because that's probably the biggest brand, right?
Yeah.
Who would you have?
Wouldn't you get like a Randy Couture?
No, I mean these are people who are like
currently fighting. You mean?
Yeah, I guess you could do like former fighters that could be part of a union. I guess Couture would be good, but I think he's probably not for them. Maybe I don't know why. I guess get the sense.
Company man.
Did you hear about the one from 2016?
The one from
the union attempt.
No.
The union attempt back in 2016, for those of you that don't know, was GSP, TJ Dillashaw, Donald Cerrone, a couple of old school guys. I think like Igor Vavov, whatever the fuck his name is.
Which
it's got like 3
GSP
V's
would have been
like,
clutch.
Yeah, and then some other dudes too. There's a bunch of them, but essentially, all of them got paid off
to not
form a union.
Really?
And they were right at the press, like right about to sign the paper, like we're a union now, and they all got paid off. Like especially because GSP actually got paid off enough to come back and fight Bisping. Because you gotta remember, 2016, that was right before he said, "I'm coming back. I'm gonna fight for the title." And basically, conspiracy. He bought his way into that fight by saying, "Okay, I'm not gonna do the union anymore, but you got to pay me $5 million."
Yeah, just think about it like this from a different perspective. Let's say you own a company that makes $1 million a year, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to pass it down to your kids, right? And then your kids pass it down to their kids, whatever. And it makes $1 million a year, right? And in 10 years, it's going to make $10 million, right? $1 million a year. Somebody comes and says, "Hey, I will pay you $50 million right now for your entire company."
I take it.
You got to take it because that's generational money as long as the money's not blown through.
Right.
Granted, let's hypothetically say the company can still, continue to make $1 million per year. In 50 years, they're going to make their money back, and if they improve the company on a yearly basis, they're going to make it back even faster. Right. But you, as long as you invest the $50 million, your kids, their kids, their kids' kids will still have money.
Right. No, it makes total sense.
So now, from a GSP perspective, it's I can take less money now and potentially not come back and not have generational money to help everybody out, or I can come back, get paid buku money, and have generational money.
Right.
I'm not saying that's how he thought about it, but that's one perspective.
No, that's probably the way they all thought about it, you know. Yeah. But it just sucks because even if you could try and get a union going with like the perfect guy, like the perfect, you know, face of the union, it wouldn't matter because then you still have, you know, like the rats, right? And you still have the guys that are willing to go in there for like 10,000 a fight
because
every
they just
month.
need a chance. Because that's kind of what the fight game is like just give me a chance.
Yeah, but not even that.
Myself.
It's also guys like Donald Cerrone who will fight, like who ideally in his mind would want to fight like 5 times a year.
Yeah, like just knock somebody out today, and then in 3 weeks he's ready to go again.
Yeah, and, you know, he's getting paid like peanuts, but he's getting paid
but
whatever
those peanuts
he wants to
add
get paid.
up.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks because then they also got guys like Daniel Cormier.
Yeah.
Daniel Cormier is like
that's a
little puppy.
That's been the one that's been like, you know, I mean, he's like the Randy Couture of now. Not like in a fighting perspective, like winning and all that stuff. I mean, in the sense of like he's the clean cut, you know, cookie cutter fighter of this current age, for lack of a better term. I mean, never been arrested. I mean, he probably eats a lot of bad food, but that's as far as, you know, the bad thing. Because even when he was arguing with John Jones, like even his like comebacks weren't.
Yeah, they're pretty PG.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but yeah, it would take someone like him, but he's on the other side, you know, and that just sucks. It really does suck. I think they should be paid way more than what they're going through.
The major problem there is like the company can bring you in, i.e., they brought in Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell. I think there's been a couple other fighters that have worked for the UFC before they were bought by this conglomerate or the bigger company. Yeah, when they were owned by the Fertittas. Yeah. Like those, they're
Chuck
like,
Liddell worked in management.
Like this, you know, they would look at fighters that either have gained a lot of popularity and could potentially move numbers, pay-per-view numbers, money, merchandise, whatever. And say, hey, if we bring you in, now that's money coming into our pockets, and then we give you not a percentage, but we'll pay you more. Or we'll pay you a salary.
Yeah, and they still get to build up their own brand.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Forrest Griffin.
That too, although he took some beatings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Anderson. Did you watch the Anderson one?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Anderson fight?
Yeah, that was the worst.
Did you watch the interview after?
Where there wasn't one he ran off.
No, he came out and I think it was like a podcast or something where he came out and talked about it.
Oh,
you watched that?
No, I didn't.
Dude, it was hilarious. That's the one. It's where he was like talking about in the fight, in the heat of the moment. It felt like he said it felt like he was a little kid playing with his dad. He was like trying to punch him, and he's like Anderson looked at him like you think you can hit me? Oh. You think you slow ass white boy could hit me? And he's just like, man.
I mean, he did connect on just about it. And then even when he tried to help him up, it was just like, nah.
It was bad, man. Because he walked into a jab, like a right cross. Was it right?
It was
straight?
A jab. It was just like a lazy jab.
Yeah, but he just was like, boo. He was like, I think he kind of gave up too, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
what was a better one, that or the front kick to Vitor's face?
Front kick.
That one had more hype. I mean, yeah, that one had more hype.
Yeah. That one was sick because Vitor is the man then going into that fight.
That's TRT Vitor, right?
Yeah, that was TRT Vitor.
Yeah.
I mean, that was sick.
Skills.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Timing, everything. Like as soon as Vitor was opening his eyes back up from blinking, it was just like right here.
I thought it was also cool because it was like bringing back the old school rivalry between like Shootbox and BTT.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking. You know, like with Carlson Gracie and the Shootbox team.
Lyoto Machida did the same thing to him.
So yeah, no, that was to Randy Couture, right?
No, he front kicked Vitor too.
He didn't knock him out though.
He did.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought he only front kicked Randy.
No, he crane kicked Randy, but he front kicked Vitor. That's the one where he kicked him and he just stood there like this. Wait, like literally, like he's across the octagon, standing there like this, looking at him, and the ref comes over and he's like, "All right, I'm a bow." Like he bowed to him like this and just walked away.
Yeah.
No, Lyoto's got some highlights for sure.
That was a bad. He was awesome. Remember he did a Sugar Rashad?
Oh yeah, it was eyes
make him do
back.
the stanky leg.
Yeah.
That was Rampage's only comeback. He made you do the stanky leg.
But he's also got some lowlights. Wasn't he the guy pulled out with a standing guillotine?
That was vicious, though.
No.
Like, that's John Jones.
Yeah.
That's like prime John Jones.
Prime John Jones, and it was also like why are you in 205? Like, you know what I mean?
That was around the time when those guys, when weight cutting was getting to that point where it is now, where it's like way better. Mm-hmm. Like back in the day, if you look at all the top guys from light heavyweight and stuff, they were pretty small.
They were small. They
were probably middleweights. Yeah. I mean, look at Rashad and Lyoto, Shogun even. Rampage is probably the only one that was actually like.
I feel like Shogun was always kind of. He always kind of had some.
Wait, you're saying all those dudes should have been 205?
They should have been middleweights.
Well,
middleweights. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Rampage was the only one that should have been at 205. He was.
Have you seen him lately? That guy's 305.
Yeah, he's a big
boy. Pillsbury Doughboy, man.
Yeah. Wasn't it Forrest was going down back and forth between 205 and 185 too, right?
Was he?
Yeah. He's fought in light heavyweight before.
Didn't Stefan Bonner also fight heavyweight?
He fought light heavyweight and middleweight.
Oh,
he's fought both. He went back and
forth.
forth.
Like that was those guys could have cut for sure. If they were here now, they could have cut for sure.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't have done a lot of damage, but they would have been here.
If the IVs were still been legal.
Yeah.
That post weight cut. I don't know if you saw. I don't remember what the young lady's name is, but she made the weight, and then you know how you have to stand there and either do whatever, raise your arms or whatever, and she put them up, and it was 1,000, 2 1,000. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't keep my arms up. I can't stand. And she walks off.
I remember. I think it was Aspen Ladd. She was having a seizure.
No.
She was walking up there like this.
I saw
shaking.
That.
Yeah. She's
That's
shivering.
Crazy, man.
That's me at 10 a.m. before I have my coffee. I'm just
I can't do weight cutting, man. I never could. That shit was it's just terrible for you. I don't know how they do it. Throughout their entire careers.
If I could not be hungry and cut weight, I would do it. But the hard part is there's always that built in. If your stomach is empty and your body's just burning everything it's got, then it's easier to cut the weight.
Yeah.
I mean so the trick we used to use in wrestling was the super dehydrate to super rehydrate, which was terrible. I mean, we were doing it every week because we had a match every week. But that was for me, it was 5-10 pounds at most.
I would never want to be. I don't know if you guys remember, they followed Dana White back into the locker room, and I think they were talking to Vitor. It might have been to somebody else. He's sitting next to him, and Vitor's got a towel that has ice in it. Okay,
he's biting on the towel.
And he's biting on the towel to keep his mouth cold. And then there's a bucket that he's spitting into. So he's not drinking water, so it's not getting into his mouth and he's not drinking. But he's just, all you hear him go, and then Dana's like, he didn't make weight. Oh, he don't make weight? And he's just I think because the cameras were there, money wasn't talked about.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You know, they did talk about you'd get 20% of his purse or whatever that breaks down to be. But I'm sure as soon as the camera was cut off, it's I'm going to need that in cash.
So what do you, I mean, do you think still the UFC is not
backroom deals?
No, not as big a ticket as top boxing matches.
For sure.
Who gets more pay-per-views?
I mean, boxing just has more money in it.
No, I get that has more. More
pay-per-views right now. UFC does.
I think UFC gets more pay-per-views.
Yeah, UFC probably gets more viewers, and they're gonna get more viewers later. But
they also have more just events.
Yeah,
boxing has a lot of more lower level events that aren't on pay-per-view versus the UFC.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's are boxers unionized?
I don't actually know. I wish we had a Jamie, but
wish you did too.
Here, you guys keep talking.
I'm I don't know, but Mayweather's probably unionized himself.
So, we're still in COVID.
Yeah. We're just switching from MMA to COVID
because these fights are in COVID times right now.
That's why they're there's no fans or anything.
Well, yeah, I thought they were just doing them in Jacksonville the whole time. What's up with the Fight Island? Are they gonna do the Fight Island or not? I thought that was supposed to be outside of Abu Dhabi or something. Or
what would be the point of that? You have this, right?
I don't know.
If you can still do the fights here, why would you do a Fight Island? To have
international.
But so you'd have people fly out there to.
You could an easier way to get the Russians out there
because you can get them in. You can get them in here, but you can't get them out.
International fans.
Yeah. You can get international fans. You can
international fighters.
They're fighters.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Russians are allowed to come out here, are they?
No. Yeah, that's why they haven't done Adesanya Costa yet, because Adesanya's in New Zealand. Costa's here, I think, right?
No, he's in Brazil.
Brazil? Yeah. Well, yeah, they haven't done that yet because one or the other, Volkanovski can't go. Khabib obviously can't go.
That guy's the king of the troll comebacks on Twitter, by the way.
Who?
Paulo Costa. He's pretty good, man. He's pretty witty for like. I don't
true
follow
American
him either,
patriot.
but he always pops up in my timeline and somebody says something stupid to him.
He's the true American patriot.
Dude, he's really funny.
Man, he's who do you think's gonna win that? Is he gonna get erased or?
I think.
What's Adesanya and Acosta?
Is Adesanya gonna get erased?
No.
I think
Costa
would beat him. I think Costa beat him. I think he could knock him out. I think he could take him down.
I think Adesanya has more to prove after the previous fight.
Yeah, and he's basically fighting the same fighter he fought, but bigger and younger, and more aggressive.
Way more aggressive.
Yeah, that's gonna be. I mean, he doesn't have the same ground credentials, but
right. But he deals better.
He's
with
got
aggressive
decent
fighters.
jiu-jitsu, right?
Decent, but I'm talking about like wrestling.
But Adesanya does deal better with aggressive fighters.
Yeah, who come at him.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He got caught a lot by what's his name, Gastelum.
He did.
Yeah, but Gastelum's heavyweight to cut down.
No. Gastelum's
is huge.
No, he's
Gastelum?
just chubby.
No.
Yeah, I mean he's fat.
No, he was fighting welterweight. He just couldn't make the weight anymore. Now that's why he bumped up to middleweight. He's probably undersized for middleweight.
He is. Yeah, I
he's
think
probably
so.
He just can't make welterweight. I don't know why he can't.
He can't get rid of the Big Macs, you know? It's just like Big Rig.
Yeah. It's that fanny pack right here.
Yeah, I mean some guys are just naturally, more
shredded,
stocky.
Yeah,
can't help it. I mean, I weigh like 180 something.
Yeah,
when I should be like
170,
160 maybe.
No,
I'm about Jay's
like,
height.
Paul Harris would have to lose like a leg in order to get to 155.
Yeah, look at Paul. Look at Andre Galvao. Even those guys are just stocky.
Dude, that guy is just as wide as he is tall.
Yeah, exactly. They're bowling balls. They're legit bowling balls.
Yeah, he's got like muscles on top of muscles.
Big old Mexican,
Paul
big
Harris
old head.
So, but he does. But like Galvao is like just weird. Like he's like he's not only muscular, but he's like athletic muscular too. You know, he's like super athletic. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
I don't know, man, but yeah, Gastelum's definitely small for the division. He's not that small, but like height wise, he's for sure like one of the smallest dudes.
Yeah.
And if he can catch Adesanya, then I feel like Costa can too.
Do you think Whitaker is going to come back at some point? And
yeah, he's fighting Till.
No, fighting who?
Darren Till.
Darren Till.
He's going to beat him.
You think so?
He's gonna beat Darren Till?
Yeah, he'll beat Darren Till. He's good, man. He's really. If you like, I feel
Whitaker's
like
good.
I feel like he's really. Good. He maybe just had a bad. Like, did he? What happened in that fight where he lost it or something? I know he lost, but it was a good fight up until then, right?
No, it was pretty uncompetitive.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So
you be having some dreams.
Mean, the thing was,
but I think he's just good. I don't know why.
Like I'm a huge Whitaker fan, and my issue with that fight was he kept spamming the same combination. It was like 1-2 like sweeping hook, and he got caught every single time, and he wouldn't change his game plan for like 3 rounds, and then he got knocked out.
Yeah.
And he actually came out this past December because remember he had that whole personal issue thing where he said he wasn't going to fight for a while. He actually came out and said that the reason is because he couldn't take it anymore. Like he was just training way too much. Like when he moved to middleweight,
so just overtraining.
Yeah, when he moved to middleweight, he said he trained every day, like literally every day, like Monday to Sunday, every day, fight or not. And like every Sunday, he'd run the dunes in Australia or whatever for like, it's like a 3-hour run. And he said it did it every Sunday, even if it was like Christmas or like Thanksgiving, he still did it. And I mean, dude, his story is crazy because he takes care of his brother and sister,
his
whole
dude.
Family. Yeah. And on top of that, he had the podcast thing with Fab, which he said he's not doing anymore. I think he's actually changing camps. So I mean, it's a good change for him. I hope that he comes back because he's pretty fucking good, man.
He's a really good striker.
Yeah. Aside from the fights, like if you even take away the fights with Romero, he still had a really good resume. Like knocking out Jacare.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Well, he still beat Romero, I thought, right?
He did. Yeah. But I'm saying if you take you take the glory of those fights away, then he still has a good record. But if you put those fights on, then everyone always mentions like he went 50 minutes for Romero. No one does that.
Yeah,
and he won both times. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be anywhere like for 15 minutes
with Romero.
Yeah.
No, not even on a podcast.
Yeah.
not with that stare.
Yeah. No.
So I've been training a little bit, underground training.
Yeah,
It's not really. I mean, yeah, whatever they are, but
I actually felt pretty good.
It was fun.
On Thursday.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time back in like what, 4 months?
Right.
I thought I was gonna gas out in like the first 10 minutes.
I think people are smart about it. Like, we're not going. I roll with you. I didn't feel like I was going to like. I don't know. It just doesn't.
Shit your pants.
Yeah, there's roles where you have people that they're just gonna always want to push, and they're always breathing really hard at the end of those roles. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that smart to do during when people just aren't training regularly. It's their first time back in a while.
the last thing you want to do is get an injury. You have to go to the doctor.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, well, your ankle's not sprained, but
I know.
Yeah.
But you just coughed in front of me, so no.
Yeah, exactly. We got to transplant. We got to do a lung transplant.
Could you potentially attribute that to the minimalness of white belts? I think I've seen one.
I mean, the thing is, we rarely have that many white belts in general.
Yeah, I don't even think it is. Man.
Yeah, but white belts and blue belts are the most sporadic.
Who do we have on Thursday?
Train, you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, when they're rolling, like
they're most spastic.
Spastic. There you go.
Yeah.
I think we got a good number of guys who are colored belts that like to go hard at top.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In fact, like
if you want to be honest, it's all colored belts.
Yeah, usually it's like all the colored belts that want to go really hard.
Dude, if anything, when we do have white belts, they're like pretty chill.
Yeah,
in comparison,
some of them are. There's one that was there.
Well, there's some
one that was there yesterday.
He was gone.
Yeah,
he was gone. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a mix, but like I don't. I mean, it's good, but I'm not trying to do that all the time.
No, yeah, I do miss the I won't say warm ups, but I'll say warm ups. No warm ups in the drilling before you getting to the rolling, because you get to a point that like you're at least a little tired. You're not 100%. You're at least down to like what 90, 85, whatever you want to call it, depending on how hard you went.
Yeah, it depends on the warm up and the drills.
Yeah, who's doing the warm? Like if we're doing yoga to start off, I mean, I'm 100% when we're rolling.
Yeah.
But like if we're doing like a Helton warm up,
dude, I did Eric's warm up yesterday. Did you do that? Did you make it for that? Were you already there?
No.
It was Thursday. No, it was Friday.
No, it's Friday. Yeah. He was there Thursday.
Yeah. You
Allegedly.
should have later, but man, that warm up was
intense.
And I've done his warm ups before, but that tells you like how tired, how like out of shape you are when you haven't been training as well, and then you start doing a legit warm up.
Yeah,
man, it was.
But like if you get tired shrimping, then you definitely out of shape.
Yeah, it's not shrimping. It was more like those pitter patter push ups.
Yeah,
and
those they'll
sit outs and stuff like that.
I'm not a huge fan of like the forward roll, backward roll, because then my brain gets all like.
You guys both
get vertigo.
Rolls.
Yeah, I get like vertigo almost.
Yeah. Well, the forward rolls and the backward rolls, I'm okay with.
It's the side rolls.
It's the side rolls. Yeah.
I can do forward like 2 or maybe 3, but like if you have to do 4 or 5, no. I literally my head is just spinning.
Dude, the only time that ever happens to me is like, have you ever been to Travin's in Atlanta?
No.
He's got a really long room, especially the new one's a really long room, and it makes you do forward rolls the entire length of the rim. And I'm like, dude, I get up and I'm like, I need. He's like, run back. I'm like, I can't run back. I'm gonna fall into something. I'm gonna run into somebody.
Yeah. The other thing is in that room when he's like, all right, we're gonna fit. So after doing an intense warm up, some drilling for like half an hour, and then rolling for an hour in like different corners of the room with like guys that are similar belts and weight for like an hour. Then he's like, all right, everybody, most folks that go there for the first time are like, all right, we're done now. So great. He literally tells you if you have to switch your gi because your gi is soaked, go ahead and do it and come back to the mat. But to end it, you're thinking like, all right, he's gonna bow out and give us like a speech or whatever. No, that entire length of the room, that's where you're smacking hands. You get a partner, you smack hands. You got to go, I think it's 5 or 6 times through. And you smack hands, sprawl, smack hands, sprawl, smack hands, sprawl, all the way down until you get to the end. And then come back around and do it all again. And then
up to 10.
Then you do it twice in every section. Bang, bang, 2 sprawls. Bang, bang,
It's up
two
to
sprawls.
10.
Up to 10. Yeah.
So he goes up. Yeah, he goes up. It's like incremental. So it's the length of the room, but you and your partner are slapping hands, doing a jump sprawl.
Yeah.
Right. And then you do it the length of the room, which is usually about, shuffle step. It's usually about 5 different initiations of that. Right. So you'll do a set of 5 of the first set is 1. So 1 jump sprawl. The second time around, it's 2 jump sprawls.
So pyramid.
Yeah, it's like all the way up to 10.
And the hard part there is like you would think, hey, the faster I do it, the faster I'm done, and boom, right? But you already did warm up, drilling, and an hour of rolling, and then on top of that, the people in front of you don't know how fast they're gonna go. So if they're going super slow and you finish yours, he's gonna call you out for standing.
Right.
And it just
he stopped doing, but by the way, he stopped doing the intermission one now. So now it's so it used to be, I think it used to be like an hour.
Yeah.
And then he would stop,
like change your gi,
and then come back for another hour or whatever.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Now he's doing it just one vigorous warm up.
Okay.
Like same thing you're talking about, and then he does 90 minutes.
Oof.
That's brutal, dog. It is brutal.
The positive here is that like the ceilings are super high, and it does get fairly good ventilation.
The new school is much better than the old one.
Ventilation wise,
yeah.
The other one was like a dungeon.
Yeah, it was horrible. It's Unit 2 fitness, and man, it's humid, so hot. But I kind of like that old school. I kind of like it where it was humid or whatever. Man, it's been. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know what's going on right now, but he doesn't. Maybe he's not running the AC as much, but it's hot as hell at top right now, and the lights are off.
Like, hey, you ready to roll? I already got like a bead going down. I'm like, what?
I didn't notice that.
It was better the last couple of days, but man,
Before
dude, he didn't have the AC on. It was hot.
Like I understand not turning on the lights. Totally understand that. There's plenty of sunlight coming in here, but go ahead and get some airflow.
No, I like the more intimate lights off, black curtains up, blackout curtains.
I do too.
No, it feels better. I probably will never go to Trappins though, in all honesty, unless I'm like down there for like a couple of days.
Right.
Because I don't really train anywhere I travel.
Yeah.
Just because I got to bring a gi or at the minimum I got to bring a belt, and then I got to plan it. And then
you already know you're bringing back that sweaty ass gi.
Yeah, and so it's just like I don't want to do that. It's not necessary. And I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to
Yeah, I think for most guys, getting ready to compete, or if you've never gone and you're white, blue, purple,
you just want to experience it.
That's definitely an experience you want to have to see, is my training up to par with the guys that are going to go compete, and they're also my same, like potentially going to be in my same bracket.
Yeah.
If I ever make it to lightweight, again, I'd have to go back because it's the easiest way to lose 7-8 pounds in one training session. It's like you're just like, holy crap.
The hard part for us is it's also a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
So training starts at 10. You have to leave
the butt crack of dawn.
Yeah, butt crack of dawn. If it's 6 dudes, if you show up 5 minutes late, they left without you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's and then
sometimes you don't want to be. You want to be in the right car. You can't be in the car with somebody who just farts.
No. But there's that, and then after that intense training, okay, then you go eat, right, and then you're gonna sit in the car for another 4 hours.
Yeah, and see that's also the thing. I can't go for a day. Even if we did go a day
it's
trip,
hard. It's hard to. Just
I'd want to take a shower before I even got in the car.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean there's showers in there and the whole night.
But you want to. You're saying I want to stay in Atlanta and kind of see the sights or whatever.
Or at least I've seen Atlanta plenty of times. Yeah, I'm just saying, if I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna go there with purpose, not just for one thing, like a one and done.
We've done it though, right? We stayed at a house. We rented a house.
That was fun. Airbnb. We did two training sessions. Though.
Yeah, the house was in the hood though, so that was a little.
Yeah. I mean,
Atlanta is the hood. It was in Duluth, right?
Yeah, and it was so the Airbnb. There were 2 dogs there. Three.
Tiny, cool. Sheba, and what was the other one's name?
I don't know what the other one's name is, but just the people
was Sheba a Sheba?
No, Sheba was just some weird kind of mutt dog. Right?
But before they left, they're like, "Don't worry, they don't bite. They're not aggressive." Da, da, da. Yo, Tiny the little Chihuahua was the most aggressive one.
He was fucking up the other dogs. They were twice as big as him or 3 times as big as him. It was really funny.
I was like, yo, tell this lady come get her dog.
Yeah. It's like, hey, man, what's wrong with this dog's possessed? But the best thing about that,
when we came in, though, with everybody were there, they were super sweet. They were super kind of coming over and like.
The best part of that trip was like after training, we would go back. It was in Duluth, so it was in Koreatown. So we would go eat. We would go stay in Duluth, and then we go back to the place and go eat Korean barbecue.
Yeah, Atlanta's got a good Korean food.
Yeah. Then you
Good food in
hang
general.
out, relax, try to get some rest, and then leave the next morning at your leisure after you have breakfast.
I think Atlanta has the second best Koreatown in the United States.
Oh, who's the first?
LA.
That's for sure.
LA for
Is
sure.
it bigger?
Yeah,
LA?
it's definitely bigger.
LA's Korean food scene is so strong that it influences Korea's food scene.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
You know, the Koji food truck was originally in LA.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Came from
You ever tried corn cheese?
No.
Corn cheese started in LA and then it moved to Korea.
Corn cheese.
So literally, it's corn
Uh-huh.
and assortment of cheeses.
Melted?
Yeah. So you put it with your Korean barbecue, and it just sits on the side, kind of like
Is it
with
like a side dish?
Yeah, like with the egg platter or whatever. It sits on the side, and then once it's all heated up, you eat it, and it's basically just like
You just eat it with a spoon?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically just like a corn fondue mix,
Like a queso type of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
And it started in LA, and now it's in Korea.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Korea's is good. Or LA's is good. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Korea's Korean food is pretty good too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
I feel like they got it locked
They
in.
probably figured it out.
They got it down to
So
a
Atlanta's
science.
is Korean food, but I think New York, for that one strip of street, they bring it. They have their Koreatown is pretty cool, and they have really good karaoke scene here in New York. An underrated one is the one in DC, Annandale, Virginia.
Yeah, Annandale's got a lot of.
It's
They got a
good.
lot of
It's pretty good.
Koreans.
I don't know where else they have. They probably have some.
Idaho, definitely.
Idaho.
Idaho's got a sweet.
No, yeah. If I had to say, it'd probably be like in the U.S. It'd probably be like L.A. specifically, but pretty much all of California.
San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
Oh, the Frisco.
But for sure, L.A. Over here on the East Coast, it's got to be Atlanta. Like it goes up, Atlanta,
DC.
Nova, and then New York, Northern Virginia.
And then Texas is probably like Houston.
It's part of the DMV, but
Yeah. Texas for sure is coming up.
Like Houston. Did you know that Houston is the most diverse city in the United States?
defined by who?
Defined by
The white people that live
I
there.
guess the census or something. I don't know, whatever it is, but it's 71% of it is made up of different races other than white.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. But it's good if you really like food from other places, because the food scene in Houston's solid. It's real good.
That's probably the only reason I'll travel. It's for food.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah,
we traveled and it wasn't for food. It was for jiu-jitsu and we couldn't eat.
Yeah, that was horrible. Except for Jay.
Except for Jay.
Yeah.
He had already made weight. He was under by like 10 pounds. So he's like, I ate tacos, burritos, this. And I was like, dude, why are you telling us this? We just sat in the sauna for 2 hours.
Horrible. I was in the worst mood.
He also, I don't know if you know this, but anytime a med's cutting weight, okay, everybody's hungry, dehydrated, like, we got to go to the sauna. Homeboy puts on the Food Channel and just wants to stare at, like,
The cooking channel. I don't watch the Food Channel.
Sorry. That makes it even better.
Let's be clear.
Like, I'd rather watch, like, those factory things, like how things are made. But homeboy's over here watching Betty Crocker make a pie or something like that. And I'm like, what in the world? And they're like, or the guy that goes to carnivals or whatever, he's like,
Carnival eats.
This is a deep fried burrito wrapped in bacon with queso.
Diners, dives, and drives.
And whipped cream.
You know, the salty with the sweet and the...
Yeah, see, that's why I don't cut weight either, man. I can't not eat.
Yeah.
Like I just have to eat. Like if I ever do go back to competing, I'd probably compete up in weight. Like I don't give a fuck. Just whatever. I don't care. I'm not cutting weight. Fuck that shit.
How old are you?
26.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that shit. Fuck it. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I mean, but at that point, you're competing for fun. You're not competing like, I want to go, like, my goal is to be a world champ. My goal is to be a Pan Am champ or European champ. If that's your goal, then you're definitely going to compete more often and you're going to stick to your weight. And you're going to But when you're competing for fun, like, hey, I want to do this tournament and for fun.
Right.
And whatever weight you're at. I mean, obviously you have to stay that weight for at least 30 days because you have to when you weigh in beforehand. But
unless you compete up.
But like, you can't switch the day of.
No, but you can just sign up for the division above you.
Not maybe you have a week beforehand. A week beforehand to make the decision on IBJJF.
Yeah. The coach has to change it a week before.
What's the
you
weight
have
classes?
15 days.
Oh, whatever. I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's the weight classes? So like I weigh about 180, 185.
You would do middleweight 181.
What's the 181?
Yeah.
What's above that?
It's medium heavy, which is 195 with the gi.
So why can't I just sign up for 195?
You could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll just sign up for 195 from the get-go.
Nobody's saying you can't.
Nobody's saying you can't, but if you end up being able to make 181, why would you?
No, I'm not going to cut
trying
anyway.
to sign you up for lightweight, bro.
I'm going to sign up. I'm going to sign up for 195, and then I'm going to eat 2 extra large pizzas back to back. And then I'll be 190.
That's why the one thing about what is it? Ultra heavy. It's ultra's heavy. What 220 or 222?
Over 226, right? It's something like that. It's over 222. Anything over 222.
Yeah. So it was just like, all right, make under 222 and you're good. Like, you don't want to be over 22 because then the homeboy comes in at 290.
Do you think that it's that's messed up that ultra heavy doesn't have a cap?
Yeah.
I think so too, man. There's sometimes I'm like, why is that guy even like allowed to compete with these people?
I'm like, dude, you definitely don't do the warm up, bro.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, the thing is though, if they did put a cap on it, then
they cap like UFC heavyweights.
Yeah, you got to make under 290 or something like that.
265, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, when's anyone that's like 300 plus actually going to be fighting in the UFC besides like Emmanuel Yarbrough? The sumo wrestler.
How big is what's his name's brother? The guy that fights Bob Sapp's brother, or his name is what's his last? What's
Bob Sapp?
He's the huge dude, right?
Yeah, Bob Sapp.
Warren Sapp. Yeah, Bob Sapp. How heavy is that guy?
He's definitely over 300.
Boom.
Yeah, but
there's your example.
He
was always in.
No, I know, but what
he was in
if
the Pride sideshows.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
That's where those big guys can go because they can make millions off of that. They're not going to fight. They're not going to.
They can make $1 million yen. But that's not the same.
Yeah, but they're not going to risk their lives.
Why wouldn't you just go to Japan and be a UFC or MMA fighter?
I mean,
who you talking? Him?
In general, no, not in general. Why wouldn't you just go to like Japan and like make money in Japan and be like a superstar?
Yeah, and Verizon.
Yeah,
I mean that's what Starberry did.
Like Rampage, they love Rampage in Japan, right?
Yeah,
fat, skinny, don't matter.
They just love him.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just seems like it's.
But I feel like you have to have a quirk about you. You just can't be Joe Blow.
Oh, yeah. You got to have a cool entrance.
Something. I don't know. Wear a leotard. I don't know. You gotta have
But back to the weight thing.
Yeah.
The weight cap. I mean, like, jiu-jitsu in general is like amateur. And at the pro level, quote unquote, when are you going to see a 300, 400, even like.
So that one guy with Mikey Musumeci.
No, Big Mac Teodoro.
Big Mac Theodore was huge, but the guy who Musumeci was fighting was probably close to 500 pounds. He was a big boy.
What is it? I think his name was like Edwin Nathalie or something like that. Or
which one?
I'll have to pull it up, but
that's like one or two guys, right?
He bought one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a handful.
Oliver Di Natale or whatever.
That guy.
Yeah, he's big too.
Yeah,
but I think it's more than you think. I think there's a lot of really heavy guys at ultra heavyweight that you are like, whoa, that guy is huge, man.
Yeah, but
I mean,
plus you don't know their exact weight. Once they check in for ultra heavy, that's it. Like that's what you're fighting.
But I guess also, I mean, I'm also thinking about the UFC thing too. The reason we see a cap is because those bigger guys, they're probably going to like NBA or like NFL or something. They're going to do one of those bigger sports
if they're athletic.
Yeah, that's the thing. But then, like, those big monster fat guys, they're just going to make bank going to Japan. You know, there's no reason to fight in the UFC, and so they look at it and be like, all right, I guess we'll put a cap on it.
Like, one guy, I feel like
we'll pay you $1 million if you fight this panda.
One guy,
exactly.
One guy I feel like should have went to Japan or whatever is Stefan Struve.
Yeah.
That guy fought heavyweight, but he was like a stick skinny. But he was like super tall.
He was 7-footer.
Yeah.
But he obviously wasn't like near athletic enough to play basketball.
No.
It's like, what?
What about that guy? The guy that Fedor fought, the Korean dude.
Oh, Homan Choi?
Yeah. Homan Choi. Yeah, dude, that guy was taller than him.
Yeah. That's the guy whose eyes were sealed shut, right? Like, he punched him so much in the face.
Yeah. But you weren't saying anything else.
What?
You went because he was Asian?
No, yeah. It
said
like
there was swelling.
Those guys should go to Japan and make bank. They can fight like Demetrius Johnson. You know?
Hey, more power.
Wait, now that you bring up that name, because I wanted to bring it up when we were talking about the money and the union and everything. That's another thing that the UFC does. It's like, oh, you think you're going to rise up? We about to trade you. Because, again, he was champ on champ on champ, right? And you could potentially raise him up so then he could make more money. Nope. Traded him to another
yeah, but now
promotion.
he makes bank.
Huh?
Now he makes bank.
So he got what he wanted, right? But, like, if he would have worked with other folks to make a union, that would have been different.
Yeah,
You see what I mean? Because, like, he had the most championships and the least. Did he ever lose? No, he was undefeated, right?
He lost to
Cejudo.
Once. I mean, yeah, right?
Once, right?
Yeah.
Just once.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, are you talking about in flyweight? Because he's lost before. Demetrius Johnson?
Yeah,
but
he's lost before.
maybe
Maybe
he lost a while back ago.
So he's won the
That was
most
his first
titles, or
loss
he had the most title defenses?
He's had the most defenses.
Yeah.
The most title
11.
defenses, yeah. So, like, that you would think is, like, something that you're going to, like, promote and
Yeah.
have, like, very high.
And
But
not only was he, like, defending, he was, like, finishing guys.
Right.
He had, like, a finish rate of, like, 50, 60% in
yeah,
his title
didn't he,
fights.
like, throw a jab and then go for a double leg lift to the guy and
He
flying
did a
armbar? him?
suplex.
Oh, suplex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suplex to armbar.
Suplex to armbar. And I'm like, yo, who else is doing that? Nobody. Granted, I don't think anybody can do that at heavyweight.
Yeah.
But
No, man,
that-
he's one of the best. But the thing is, he's looking out for himself. You know.
But this is what I'll say is there's been quite a few fighters. I'm not gonna say a lot. I can say at least a handful of fighters that say that the UFC is biased as to who they're going to promote, when they're going to promote, and how they.
Well, that goes under the conversation we were talking about like the getting paid, right?
Yeah.
So some of these guys aren't getting paid because they're not
But then-
hand picked.
That also goes to, like, if you're gonna talk like that and you're gonna be that expressive about it, you can't be getting knocked out by Durinho. You know what I mean?
No, I get that, but I'm saying like I think they're saying like even there's guys. So speaking again, like I'm on Twitter, so if you guys get on Twitter, you're gonna.
Do you think there's more money in R&B? Look, this is honest. Do you think there's more money in R&B than in the UFC? I need you to be. This is specifically to you. His man's right.
Nah,
T Wood is his boy.
That's not
Right?
my
Oh,
boy.
all right, that's not your boy. Where did speaking to the mic? Where did T Wood go to college?
Mizzou,
And where's he from?
St. Louis,
And where are you from?
Mizzou.
Where are you
I'm
from?
from Columbia, but yeah, right outside of St. Louis,
And where'd you go to college?
Mizzou.
All right, I guess
Yeah.
my
I
job here
was-
is done.
I was but Edgar heard the news first when I was like, T Wood caught the unfollow on Twitter because obviously I'm not on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and I was like, T Wood's he just
You got his song in your playlist, right?
What's it? Keep on falling in and out of love.
Yeah.
horrible. But like, yeah, like I don't know. So the point of it is like anyway, there's on Twitter like there's a lot been going on about fighting wages and then fight like mixing like creating the fights and like the matchups and all that
Yeah,
stuff with Joe
matchmaking.
Silva.
Yeah.
A lot of Joe Silva bashing lately.
He's still the guy making the matches?
No,
No.
he,
Back in the day.
I think he retired in like 2016. Or
Yeah,
something.
but
Retired or fired?
But there was some people.
Retired.
Eddie Alvarez was talking about a Joe Silva story where like he would just he had just joined the UFC because remember he just came from
from
what was it?
WEC?
From
Strike
Force.
Force.
He was
right?
from Strike Force, and he'd have those like sick ass fights with Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because his boxing was crisp. I mean, it still is, but it wasn't crisp against Conor.
Yeah, Conor was like, that was.
That was a shit fight.
Yeah, but he was like he got there and he'd won like a couple fights, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. And then he was sitting there at some hotel that he was, like just randomly in like I think it was in Vegas, and Joe Silva was at a table and he was so Eddie Alvarez was at the bar and he's telling the stories. I'm at the bar and Joe Silva was there with some buddies. So I thought it would be the right thing to do to go up and introduce myself. I've really never talked to him, right? So he went up to introduce himself. He's like, hey, they're like, Joe's like, yeah, I saw your last fight. And he's like, what are you gonna? He goes, what do you want to do next? And he's like, hey, if they give me you want to give me the title fight, I'll take it, right? But he was saying it kind of jokingly, but also just being whatever,
Yeah.
It's just like so. Joe Silva's like, well, just just based on what I'm seeing, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And then he was like, he laughed and he basically laughed in front of the other guys that he was with, and those other guys joined in on the fun. They laughed, and Eddie Alvarez was just like, all right. He didn't say anything, but he went upstairs to his hotel room fuming, like really pissed off. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Remember, I think he filled in for somebody for the RDA fight. Because he filled in for somebody who took the RDA fight.
When RDA tore his ACL?
Called him. Like Dana called him, but do you want no, RDA, he fought RDA.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who RDA was supposed to fight, but Dana called him, said, hey, do you want this fight? He's like, absolutely. And he came in and he knocked him out in the first round, right?
Was it first round?
He knocked him out first round. Yeah.
I mean, the thing was, he was getting destroyed before that.
There's no round before the first round.
I don't
know.
No,
like
okay.
in the round.
Okay.
Because he was lighting him up, and then he came in with that hook, I think, right?
I don't remember exactly, but he knocked him out. And then all of a sudden, Joe Silva was sitting there right there as he was leaving with the belt, and he looked at him and he just gave him a wink, and he said, "Kill him with kindness."
Hey!
You kill him with success. You kill him with success.
No, yeah, there's a lot of Joe Silva
bashing stories. Yeah, people don't like.
Fun fact: he's from Richmond, Virginia.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he actually opened a gym back home.
Max is from Richmond.
I am.
Yeah.
But, like Chris Weidman's story, did you hear that one? Mm-mm. Where he was saying that, I can't remember what the situation was, but Damian Maia, I think, was supposed to fight Anderson Silva or something again. And then Anderson Silva pulled out.
Because the first time they fought was Abu Dhabi, right?
Anderson Silva and Damian Maia?
Yeah.
Well, whatever it was, they were
he fought Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, because
it was a boring fight.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, they were scheduled to fight again, and Anderson pulled out, and then they literally called like Chris like a week before, and it's like, hey, can you make the weight? Mm-hmm. And Chris is huge.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, probably not. And they're like, all right, then you're not fighting. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I'll make the weight. And so they kind of strong armed him into that fight.
Because it comes down to like, do you want to get paid or not?
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
and like, it's a high profile fight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it catapults your career.
Exactly.
Did he win that fight?
Yeah, he was undefeated up until Rockhold.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one fight that didn't he fuck up Mark Munoz? God, he destroyed him.
Oh, yeah.
That was the ref's fault.
Oh, man, he just destroyed him.
Man, I feel for him. I feel for Weidman. He's a good fighter.
He had no business taking that 205 fight with
Reyes.
That guy will wreck you.
The issue there is
what was he thinking?
Well, the issue there is like you see Thiago Santos and what's his name? Anthony Smith go from mediocre middleweights to contender light heavyweights, and like him, Luke Rockhold, Jacare even, they're like, let's try it. Because they're big dudes.
Right, but I don't mean like I'm talking about skill level. Like Reyes is just that good a striker.
I mean, the thing is, Reyes, I think, was coming off of a controversial win over Volkan Ozdemir, whatever his name is. And so, I mean, Weidman just goes in there and he just wants to. I don't think he wants to fight the best all the time, but he's just taking it or leaving it kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think it was a dumb move, but I mean,
yeah. I mean, it ended up not looking good in retrospect. You could always say that, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because if you look at Weidman's resume since the first Anderson fight, I mean, Anderson twice, and then Lyoto Machida, Titor, TRT Tour, Rockhold. You got Rockhold, Romero.
I love TRT.
Gastelum, Jacare, and then Reyes. And then he's supposed to fight. I think he's actually fighting down now, but he's still fighting a top 10 guy.
Okay.
So it's like he's still fighting like the best of the best in a pretty stacked division.
Because I feel like when he came in, he started at the top. So you beat Anderson off the bat. They're not gonna give you softballs.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you just beat 3 legendary Brazilians in a row.
Yeah.
So, what's to say you can't just beat everyone else?
Sure.
But the issue is, especially at that time, I felt like all the middleweights could beat each other.
Yeah.
Like Rockhold, Weidman, Whitaker,
God, he
Romero,
fucked up that Rockhold.
Jacare.
He should have beat Rockhold.
Yeah,
he should have beat Rockhold. That kind of did not do him well at all.
I think they took the approach of like, we threw a brick at the glass wall, the glass didn't break, so we're gonna keep throwing bricks at the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of those bricks is gonna go through.
Eventually, I'll win.
Yeah.
All right, we actually still have the fights going on.
This is a highlight.
Who is that?
The female fight, right? Yeah.
I think this is a highlight of what's going to happen.
Dude, did you guys watch the Zhang Weili and Ioana? Did you guys watch that fight?
I didn't watch it.
No, but that's the one where Ioana, like, she got the.
Was that where she had the huge hematoma on her? Oh
yeah.
my.
Dude, that was probably like the best, in my opinion, the best women's fight of all time.
Great striking, I presume, right?
Yeah, dude, they're super technical, and the issue is like, all right, I'm gonna ask you this, guys. In a fight, in an MMA fight specifically, who's gonna win on the scorecards? The person that throws more volume and more technique, or the person that throws harder, more damaging strikes?
Harder, more damaging strikes.
I'm volume technique.
Your volume. So you guys are split.
Yeah.
I think it depends.
I'm telling you how the judges are going to score it.
How the judges are going to score it.
Yeah, the judges are dumbasses, and they're just going to score like whoever.
Volume.
No, I think it's the other way.
Power?
They're
more
just like,
damage.
more damage.
I mean,
they just want to see.
Yeah, the hematoma.
Oh,
she looked like she got fucked up.
Yeah, true.
And the thing is, I mean, Zhang's eyes are closed anyway. So, but but yeah, like it was tough to call. You know, you could like if you watch the fight.
Yeah.
Like when I first watched it, I thought Ioana won, and I thought that she got robbed. Even though I'm definitely more of a Zhang fan, you know. But then when I watched it a second time, I felt like Zhang won. So it's just like it's so hard to tell.
Let's take it even back further. Who won, Forrest or Stefan Bonner?
Forrest for sure.
Forrest won.
Dude, he was.
Yeah, but Bonner got the contract,
but, you know,
right? Oh wait,
yeah,
Forrest got the contract.
I went
They both
back
did.
and watched.
They both, yeah.
I went back and watched that Hendricks GSP fight, and ain't no way Hendricks lost that fucking fight. Dog.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
There's no way Hendricks lost that fight. I was like, yo, this dude was beating the shit out of him. He's never been that good, and he like obviously fell off.
Had to been on some.
Yeah,
gas,
he fell off the planet.
No, I don't think he's been gas, but like he just. I mean,
because
how hard was it for him to make that weight?
He had that breakup with his nutritional coach because he's like, I can cook eggs, I can do this, I can.
Mike Dolce.
Yeah, and he made it seem he dragged Mike Dolce, and then what? He missed weight the next like 3 fights.
It's like 10 fights.
Yeah.
He missed weight at middleweight.
Bro,
He came in at 187.
They're like, oh, he missed weight, and he took a selfie in his truck or whatever. Yo, he looks so chubby. Face was just bloated. Like I'm like, you're supposed to lose water, not take it on.
Oh, I got asked this question. So, it was a hypothetical. What if GSP had stayed and fought 3 more times?
3 more times?
3 more times.
After what do you mean?
After the Hendricks fight. So
he
obviously he would
rematch.
rematch.
He would have lost.
He would have rematched Hendricks, but
because I think it's like the culmination of how his fights were going the distance for a long time.
Yeah,
I think that break really helped him out. You know that he took. And
that's what he said.
Yeah, but I think that if he would have like, you know, within like 8-10 months or whatever, taken another fight and it was like against, you know,
Hendricks again.
It
would have for sure been Hendricks again.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been not good, and then then you had people coming in like
it would in my opinion it would have been him fighting Hendricks again, assuming he won.
And then
he'd fight Lawler again.
Right, and then you had T Wood right after that.
Nah, that title fight was bogus.
That's pre RMB.
That's pre RMB. Pre RMB T Wood. You can't talk shit about.
No, that was bogus. that was bogus. Let me tell you a story. These are facts. So if you look at the rankings after GSP left, it was Hendricks, Lawler, McDonald, like Roy McDonald, and Tyron Woodley, right? And so the year he left, Tyron Woodley, I think he got trashed by Rory.
Yeah, Rory beat his
and
ass.
then he decisioned Gastelum.
Yeah,
right. And then he didn't fight.
He beat Condit. He beat Carlos after that too.
No, did he beat before or after?
He beat after the Gastelum fight. He beat.
When was the cost check where he two-pieced him? Remember that?
That was like early on in his
No, career. I think
he fought Carlos before Gastelum because he fought Carlos, was on the way up, and then he fought Rory and he lost to Rory, and then he took the Gastelum fight.
Yeah, that's right.
And he beat Gastelum.
So here's the thing. So after the Gastelum fight, he was basically petitioning to get a contender fight for the title, which makes sense because he was scheduled to fight Hendricks.
Right.
If he beat Hendricks, then obviously he'd fight Lawler.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense. But Hendricks pulled out. And so Woodley took it as, I'm still guaranteed a title shot because I showed up and I made the event. Like he didn't fight, obviously. But I'm here and I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
When Stephen Thompson had just beat Rory McDonald, who just previously was a title contender. Yeah. So you go from the rankings at that time of Lawler, McDonald, or Lawler, Thompson, McDonald, Hendricks, Tyron Woodley. And so Tyron Woodley got the shot because he kept begging for it.
I mean, I don't think they gave it to him because he just kept begging for it.
No,
I think it's other circumstances. I'm not saying he earned it. Honestly, obviously he earned it because he got it. I'm just saying he got the title shot. Probably there's some other things that had to have happened, like other fighters just not being able. Like you were talking about the Rory, not and did Stephen Thompson lose after Rory?
No, he didn't lose until Tyron Woodley.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So Hendricks pulled out. I think the fight was scheduled for like November or December, and Hendricks pulled out, and then Tyron kept complaining, like I deserve a title shot. I deserve a title shot. And then Robbie fought Condit in January, and then he would eventually fight the next person in July. Hendricks came back in the same time. Like he was like February. And fought Stephen Thompson. That's why people said Stephen Thompson should get the shot because he's the one that fought the actual. He fought and beat both, previous Rory and Hendricks. Yeah. So he should have been next. But then Tyron Woodley's like, nah.
But who had the most longevity in the UFC at that
time? I think it was pretty even because Tyron Woodley had only been in the UFC for a while because he came from Strikeforce.
Yeah, but he'd already been there since Koscheck, and before that he'd had at least 2 more fights before that. The one fight, you can say whatever you want about the Rory fight. He looked but he was playing on his heels for that. The one fight,
there's one where he broke his hand or his shoulders.
No, the one where he got fucked up beyond all whatever. It was the fight that at Strikeforce when he lost to. Who's that guy, man?
Nate Marquardt.
Yeah,
Nate
Marquardt.
He was the
pancrase
champion, right?
He just he couldn't fall down. He was just like boom, boom. He was out on his feet.
Oof.
He was out on his feet when as soon as he walked away, he fell. He slumped to the ground, dude. It was bad.
Nate lost to Anderson too, right?
Yeah, Nate was always looked jacked at whatever weight he fought.
All right, so here's the stats real quick. So Stephen Thompson was in the UFC a year before Tyron Woodley. And he had a record of 8-1 in the UFC only, right? Tyron Woodley had 8 fights, and he had a record of 6-2, and he got destroyed by Rory, and he got again destroyed by what's his name, Jake Shields. I just looked at it.
He lost to Jake Shields.
Yeah, he got decisioned.
Yeah.
I think the issue of Tyron Woodley is that he just if you wrestle fuck him, he's done. Like if you pressure him, he's done. He's not going to be able to fight back.
Yeah, which is weird.
He needs distance.
He really is a good wrestler.
Yeah,
he's a counter striker.
Yeah, that's the reason that he beat Stephen Thompson. It's just because they were both counter strikers, and
horrible fights.
I don't know. The first one was pretty good.
Yeah.
Second one was terrible.
So wait, you've given up on T Wood?
I've been.
He fell in and out of love.
I fell in and out of love on T-Wood. But actually when he released that song, I'll beat your ass. No. After he released that song, I'll beat your ass, he never won a fight again. I saw a tweet about it. I was like, damn, T-Wood. Yeah, but then he did the R&B shit. I was like, this dude's done. You're done, dude. Just hang it up. Just stop it. We're done. Nobody's.
Yeah, he's pretty old too. He's up there.
I mean, whatever.
Mourinho's on that come up though.
He caught that unfollow. And who else caught that? Askren caught that unfollow.
Askren?
Yeah,
he's also hold on, wait. He's also a what product? Where did he go to college?
Zoo.
Man,
I never liked that guy, man.
Yeah, well, they both caught unfollows. Not because of their UFC careers. It's more T-Boy caught the unfollow because of the fucking R&B shit. I was just like, no, we can't do this anymore, bro.
He's like, I can't be a
How is this showing up on my timeline? Yeah. Ashgren just says stupid shit. All right, so I don't think we can. I don't. You guys, not to like. There's a lot going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be talking about UFC stuff a lot, so this does tie in a little bit. But so have you guys been keeping up with the stuff on now? Like Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz are both catching heat from.
No, you texted us that, but
yeah,
I don't know
why they're catching heat. I'm not on Twitter as much as you are.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Well, it's.
I did see something about cancel, or now we're gonna cancel Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz.
You're not gonna cancel Joe Rogan.
No, I mean like people are saying that.
It's like the cancel culture shit. Yeah, but like, basically, there was like an old clip of Joe Rogan back when he was in that old studio, not the one he's in.
The smaller one.
Yeah, smaller one. And Joey Diaz was on the show, and he was talking shit about how when he was in back in the Laugh Factory or whatever, the girls who were up and comers, the comedians, would like ask him for stage time in the belly room, you know, and he wouldn't let them up there unless it said like he was like adamantly talking about like unless they give me a blowjob or whatever, like they performed oral sex. Right, yeah. On him.
Fellatio.
Yeah, fellatio, and they were in and he was laughing about it, and then Joe was laughing about it, and like at the time you're like, this is probably like late 2000s that they're talking about this kind of stuff, and so this clip came out of nowhere, and then but the big, and then he was saying like, this girl was doing this, she asked me for it, and then like, man, I ruined her, man. She called me and like, 2 years later talking, she was beautiful before, and she's like, she was ruined. She's like, yeah, she got brown nails. Da, da, da. I was like, and then they're laughing about it, right?
Yeah,
on the podcast. So this clip's been going all over, right? And this is also like, 2 days after the Chris D'Elia shit came out. Did you see the news?
Yeah, I did read some of that.
Yeah, so like basically that circle of comedians of D'Elia, Joey
everyone
Diaz,
that came from the Laugh Factory,
or Joe Rogan, that particular, because Joe Rogan was on there, they were laughing. So like, there's another comedian that saw the clip and she didn't realize it. Chelsea Peretti, she was on like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and she's married to who's the guy? Key and Peele. Who's the director?
Key or Peele, one of them.
Who's the director?
Jordan Peele.
Which one is it?
He's the director, Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele. She's married to him.
Okay.
Yeah. She was like, I can't believe this is. I just now seen this. This is so fucked up, and they're all laughing. The worst part of it is that they're, Joe Rogan is laughing, about this story, and I think, and so then,
so who corroborated it with facts? Like, who's not like is him embellishing like he does all his other stories?
Well,
right?
I don't know if they
like did somebody come out and say I'm that girl.
Is that somebody?
I mean,
is that proven fact that he embellishes his stories?
I mean,
can you prove? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to say he's embellishing stories, can you prove that he embellishes his stories?
I can't prove it.
But if you take away that, the fact that he's talking about it,
the fact that he's talking about it is the bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that they're laughing about it is another bad thing. Like, the Me Too movement didn't start back then. No, this is well before the Me Too movement, right. But now like this is all. I'm not excusing that kind of stuff. Then I think then people started releasing clips of Joe Rogan's podcast where same type of thing, where he was talking about being in black, getting caught up in in a black neighborhood, and it was like Planet of the Apes, not a single white person on there. And I saw the clip. I was like, wait a second, dude, did Joe Rogan really say that? And I watched it again. I was like, shit, he said that. I was like, could people get away with it back then? Because they're finding the stuff out now, and they're pulling the stuff out now, and they didn't pull it up. They didn't say anything about it back then. But is it holding more weight now because people are just like, yeah, if you have a racist pinky bone in your body, we're fucking calling you out.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? If there's a hint of racism,
but is that racist?
Is it racist to say the Planet of the Apes thing about the black neighborhood?
Yeah,
it's fucking racist. That's racist as hell. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, and let's be clear about this, is that I don't want to politicize shit on here, right? I don't. But I don't want to politicize shit on here, and racism is bad, right? I think we can all agree that.
Well, I mean, that's not even politics.
That's not politics, right? It's like, if you're racist, it has nothing to do with politics. You're just a racist.
Correct.
Right? And
so is Joe Rogan a racist?
Is Joe Rogan a racist? I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I mean, I think.
Well, so if you're saying that, does he have racial bias?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Yeah, he does. And you do too, and I do too. Yeah. We all do. It's how we like what we present, how we present ourselves based on that bias.
Right.
All right, psychology major coming out here. So the thing is,
time to shine right now.
the thing is, in a serious note, like, I'm always about the bit, but this is like a serious thing. It's like, we will never be able to get rid of racism as a society and as a race, as a species, because it's just hardwired into us. The only way to get rid of it is to completely rewire everyone's thoughts, right? Because racism stems from biases, and biases stem from stigmas, right? So we have like preconceived notions about certain people and like certain, cultures or whatever, right? Like, we were joking about earlier, Asians with small eyes.
Yeah.
Like, am I racist or are you racist?
Yeah, but like, this is culturally different. Like, when we're talking about in this country, racism is different than it is in, say, like other, in the Middle East. And racism exists in the Middle East.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
But like, what I'm saying is, like, even aside from that, like, if we were to somehow take away all the racists in the U.S., like all the bad guys, there's still going to be racism. You know what I mean? But
I don't know what you're trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is, like, if we take away the bad racists, like the obviously the people that, like, start spewing the N-word, or like they're lynching people, or they're doing all this crazy stuff.
People who are hateful.
Yeah, and they're saying things that Joe Rogan or like whatever have said. Seriously, it's not a bit. It's not like a exaggerated.
But does
story.
does it? When I say even in a bit, does it even? Are we okay with that?
No, but the like, if we get rid of the big deal guys, then those are the next targets, right? And then they're gonna stop making those jokes because it just doesn't work anymore. Like, no one's really making, like, what's a bad thing to make a joke about? 9/11. No one's making 9/11 jokes.
Nope.
I mean, if they are, look what happens to them. They get burnt. They get destroyed.
Yep.
And I think
they make 9/11 jokes at the expense of people from the Middle East all the time.
On Joe Rogan?
I mean, I don't know whether it's Joe Rogan, just comedians in general. They do. I've definitely heard it.
From who?
I've heard it from. I don't know the specifics, but I've heard like bits where people like, they'll see somebody in the middle, who looks Middle Eastern, and like, somebody comes up to him and be like, all right, I don't remember who the person is. Like, they said, I saw somebody who looked like they were Middle Eastern, was getting ready to fly out, and I was like, and the guy, just walked up to him and was like, hey man, what plane are you on, bro? Like, trying to avoid, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So is that funny? Maybe if I was Middle Eastern and I said that to somebody else, I was like I see people who are from a certain race kind of clown their own cultural issues that and I don't see an issue with that because they're part of that culture. They're part of that.
You're just making fun of yourself.
Yeah, they're kind of just making fun of them. But are there people who can do it where they can talk about a different ethnic group in a way where it's not, I don't think, less of you as a human, right? Or in a way that it just comes down as like you're putting them down. Yeah, there are probably people who are able to do it. Like I've heard Russell Peters do it, and he doesn't come off in a way where he's like,
Well, would Russell Peters be considered Middle East? He's Indian.
No. He's Indian. What are you? What are you?
Because he's brown, is what I'm saying.
I'm saying to you, like, I've seen him make fun of people who tell jokes or do bits on Asians, like Chinese people. I've seen him do bits on Indians. I've seen him do bits on Arabs. I've seen him do bits on Africans from Africa. I've seen him, you know what I'm saying? So like, but it doesn't come off in a way where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for me, the Asian jokes hit because, you know, I consider him Asian.
Yeah.
And the Middle Eastern jokes kind of hit because he's brown. But then like the black jokes kind of like what's the casino one? Have you ever heard that one?
Or he tells a casino joke?
Yeah, he tells a casino joke where he's talking about like this South African working at the casino, and his name had an exclamation mark in it.
Oh,
and his name was.
I've heard it.
Yeah. Oh, the African jokes.
Yeah,
the African jokes.
Those ones are decently funny, but he's not like he's usually just throwing out the Asian ones. You know, that's like his bread and butter.
Where the Asian and the Indian dude are like
the Jamaican one's kind of funny too. I use that all the time.
The one where the Indian and the Asian dude are trying to haggle for like they're like negotiating who's buying what or whatever.
That's actually real.
But like those are stereotypes that can be like
those are like, things that we can laugh about.
Yeah, you can like and again like he's talking to an Asian person in the crowd and being like, okay, man, bro, this and this, and he's like, I can't talk because we're like this and this and this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could say this about my people. So Russell Peters is an example of somebody who's pulled that off for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, if you're just going to be on your podcast and say, and I'd never seen this clip before, and say something about we were in a black neighborhood and we got out and we were like, did not know where we were. We had no business being there. And it was like fucking Planet of the Apes, bro. Not a single white person in sight. That's what he said.
Yeah.
I'm like,
see, that doesn't sit right. But then like when you compare it to Russell Peters' jokes, his are more lighthearted, where it's like it's just referencing the name, which is a real thing in certain languages with the clicks. But then like even like the Jamaican joke where he's making fun of like essentially black people, it's like where the black dad, like the Jamaican dad, hits his kid and he's like, just in case, like later on, just in case the kid does something bad, he hits him first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then that's laughable because it's like it's not just a black thing, you know?
Right. That's like people.
The Planet of the Apes thing,
you got
for sure.
hit when you were a kid by your mom, and I got you know, like it's a Hispanic thing, it's a Middle Eastern thing, it's an Asian thing,
it's an ethnic thing.
Yeah, you just beat your kids.
But even me just saying that, it's an ethnic thing.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously, there's white families that beat
well,
their
I get
kids
what you're
too.
saying. It's like it's just other people from different cultures.
I guess it depends on where it comes from.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But the Joe Rogan Planet of the Apes thing, like I feel like that's actually something he thinks, and that's why it's not sitting right with me.
Yeah, and again, so like, I don't know what your thoughts are when you're hearing all this, because you're like the type of person I gotta gather the facts, and I gotta see what's going on. And this is me, like I'm not lying to you, like
it is a clip. He did say it.
Yeah, he saw it. And this is like early 2000s. Has he like and like Joe's the guy that I'll listen to, and then I'll take time. And I'm like, man, why is he just like he's just always kind of towing that line of like saying shit that's just like, I don't know where you're going with this, bro, or like, you know what I'm saying? And then like, so when I see this happen, I'm like, man, he's gonna catch some heat. And then the D'Elia stuff,
I never thought he was funny.
A lot of people say that. They're like, I didn't even know he's a comedian.
He's just a viner. Yeah. No,
well, he's on that show apparently he's on that show and he plays a pedophile on the show. And so
so that's where I saw him
never
from.
watched the show, but then that news came out, or people have been watching that show, and then all of a sudden these people that you know said that they were getting DMs from when they were like 16 to come to his shows. And
well, this is the hard part. Then some guy came out and he's like, I took my daughter to go see his show, and she showed me that he DM'd her after the show. And I'm like, all right, well, I mean, you as a dad, why wouldn't you go and like, you know, either talk to the police or try to do something about it? Why is it like all of a sudden now, years later? I'm not saying you shouldn't have, like, I'm not blaming him for not doing anything. I'm just saying, how is it that it's coming now and there's no proof? Same thing with the young lady. She, in one portion, she like blurs out the email because there's law implications. And then in another screenshot, she doesn't. So I'm like, where is?
Yeah, it's that one. Is it that one? Is it the same one that
the one that started using the word grooming? Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like this was like I messaged you about it. I was like, I don't know that one too much about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't. it feels like more of this needs to come out before like
I think more facts need to come out.
Yeah, more
versus like I'm going to out you on Twitter and now it's going to start a Twitter storm. And
yeah, I mean the thing is the Me Too movement. Just speaking about the young ladies is like the Me Too movement is kind of like the Red Scare. You guys remember the like history Red Scare from like the 1950s?
Yeah,
right.
It's very similar because there are facts. And there are actual people that have stories, but then you have other people that are just kind of, they're like the boys or like girls who cried wolf, essentially. And so it's hard to know who's actually telling the truth and who's not, and where the facts are actually coming from. So it's really tough because
I think it's towing when you're talking about McCarthyism, right? Like it's like the Reds. Yeah. That's somebody who had a political agenda that later came out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
so like, but I get.
Listen, but how many people were like,
I'm saying it's a similar phenomenon, where it's like we don't know whether or not. I mean, obviously, we have to take people's word for what they're saying, especially if they're really passionate about it.
I think,
can we believe them?
Can you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I
there are stories I do believe. There are stories I don't.
Okay, understood that there's some people that are going to.
I need receipts,
right? But no, I get that. But like, you also have to be careful because of the statistics that come out about sexual assaults, and rapes, and the fact that women are never believed or women don't come out because
which is why they don't
because of retribution and all that stuff, and like or just in general, like being empathetic. Like obviously, I've never been in that situation, but. What would I do if I had to accuse somebody of that and then go to trial and then testify in front of that person? Like, what does that do to you psychologically?
It does do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's not aside from just being able to tell the truth, like who's telling the truth or who's not. They say there's plenty of ones that are out there that we don't know about because they never do come.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then so like if we're gonna say like that's there, we also have to address the ones that they're not even saying anything as well too.
Yeah.
And so when this stuff's happening with Dalia or whoever, I don't know. It's just like
I think there's just not enough factual information to make a decision as to whether he is or is not.
Yeah, because there could be a case.
Because like
does
again,
it seem like it's sleazy? It does. Like
if in fact that is his email and he is the one who was sending a message. Yes. Right. But if it's not, then it's not.
But there's
right? Somebody's sleazy.
So but I guess the point of it is like there's other people who are corroborating this and saying that they have the receipts too. Right. So all I'm saying to you is like even if they were not underage or whatever, it still comes off as like scuzz bucket type behavior or whatever. It is what it is.
The other interesting part is, if I'm not mistaken, from that one, the young lady who used the word grooming, she was the one who reached out to him and was, I believe, 17, right?
I don't know.
So,
but she reached out to him how? Like it wasn't in a capacity
in
of
a
like,
DM.
Yeah, but it was in the capacity of like sexual nature. Did you read? Because
I didn't read.
Yeah, like no. I don't. You just because she reached out to him does that, and she could have been like, "Hey, I was at your show, whatever. It was awesome."
Yeah, if she sends a message like, "Hey, great show." Yeah, and then the guy's like, you want to fuck?
No, just because she reached out.
Yeah.
So
I think we don't have enough information to continue the conversation.
That kind of case is hard. That kind of case is hard. But then like you have like the Weinstein thing. Obviously he did stuff because he's up there. Right. He's up there, and he's got this power. He's capable of doing these things. So it's more believable for me at least that he would be something like that. Because I'm a firm believer in the idea that Hollywood has like a sex ring. But is Chris D'Elia in that sex ring? Is he like trying to get in there?
What is it like? Do I think it's possible that somebody like Chris, I'm not saying him, but say somebody like him,
someone
in that
like
situation,
him, someone at his level.
I absolutely think it's possible.
Yeah,
there's absolutely like, dude, man, it's just.
But if it's possible, is it probable?
Yes, it's probable. It's definitely probable.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Okay. I think it's. I mean, that's just the way and I'm not. Listen, I don't have anything against. Actually, I was following D'Elia for a long time because
he just got that unfollow.
Got that unfollow. Everyone's catching
it. He was pretty funny. Like he would, like on Twitter anyway. He's really funny.
Like quips, like
like he comes back at people for talking shit to him or whatever. Like it was,
and their current comebacks.
Yeah, he's actually pretty, pretty political on there too. To be frank with you, he's not. But regardless, is like my point is like I think that we're gonna see that this group or this culture of like comedians being called out at this point. Like you're gonna start seeing it happen. Be prepared. Yeah, Gomez, you are gonna see receipts, and it is gonna happen because
for D'Elia,
for comedians in general, right? Because they've like I think in the past 6 years they've been towing the line of like, don't silence me, I'm just joking, I'm out there, and you guys are you guys are sitting there saying like, hey, why, like, how can you go up there and say these types of jokes, and like, man, these are jokes, like you're gonna, the far left is trying to cancel us, this and this, right, for however long. Because
wait, so are you saying they should change how they do comedy? You saying they should change their verbiage?
So let me tell you something right here. Let me tell you something right here.
Yeah,
I agree with what Ahmed's saying here, but I'm going to answer your question of should they change. I'll be honest. I have, I'm all about the bit, like I've been saying. I have some pretty terrible jokes in my head, but am I going to just say them all the time? No, I'm going to filter myself. I'm going to process in my head, like, is that a good joke to tell right now? Probably not.
Especially with a mic in my face.
Exactly. So it's like I'm not some high level comedian. I'm not going on stand up shows. I'm not doing all that shit. Yeah. But I'm filtering myself, and I feel like these comedians should have an understanding that, like, hey, look, even though I am a comedian, even though I am telling jokes, I have to understand. It's
an art form or whatever it is.
Exactly. I have to understand the climate. Yeah. I have to understand what the repercussions of this joke is.
Right.
And that's why, like, someone like Kevin Hart. Yeah. He does like small time stand up shows at like small bars and like pubs and whatever, just to try it out. Yeah. And then like his actual shows are like the filtered jokes, Right. So it's just like it should be held responsible.
I think people are sitting there when they start bringing up the stuff.
So he should be held responsible for like a joke he told in 2000?
Should he?
Yeah, like why wasn't that energy then? Like, why is the energy now? Why is like the energy built up now?
Are you talking about like when he like on this Twitter thing or whatever, or him specifically?
Joe Rogan?
No, Joe.
Or who?
He's like Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Oh yeah, so, either Kevin Hart or
should he be held responsible for that? No, because the climate was different. The climate was different.
I think that like
but that's what he's getting burned for now, right?
What I'm thinking is like
yeah, that was an attack.
Even on your the currently now, like when they're on their podcast and they're just towing the line or whatever, like the clips between him and Joe Rogan and Brendan Schaub or whoever, like there's some like where you see the Theo Von clips with him and Brendan Schaub, it's like they're towing the line on some stuff, or like they're just saying shit they probably
shouldn't be saying,
or let's say this is right.
I mean, but that's their shtick. They like speak freely, right? That's supposed to be like a conversation like this. So
right? My point of it is,
I'm not arguing it. No, I'm just saying that's their MO, right?
So, but what their also MO is like, you guys are trying to silence us, and it's infringing on freedom of speech, things like that, right? Which is bullshit.
Okay,
we all know that's bullshit. When people start saying things like, you're infringing on my freedom of speech when I can't say certain things like all lives matter or whatever, like. Nobody's saying that, dude.
Yeah.
Nobody. You're like, nobody's gonna take away your right to say what you want to say. But there are other consequences of you saying those things.
That's the thing about the amendment, though, because it's not mentioning that. It's saying you can say what you want, but it's also saying you have to live with the consequences.
You're gonna live with those consequences, whether it's business, whether it's socially, you just get ostracized.
Which he has said what he's wanted to say, and it's actually improved his business.
Who?
Joe Rogan.
Sure.
Right?
And same thing with toxic people.
Schaub, same thing with Joey Diaz. Not as successful, granted, right? But look at Joe Rogan's success right now.
What I'm saying is, like, you're saying like this stuff's now coming out, and he just signed this deal with Spotify.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, what happens later on? Like, if Spotify decides, like, you know what, this is getting a little too dicey for us, we're gonna end this deal.
Okay. Right. So he's still as big, right? Maybe. Like, so Spotify doesn't make him bigger.
No.
If anything, he's making money for Spotify.
Totally understand that. But Spotify could say, we don't want to be tied to that.
That's fine. They could cut it today, and he would still be making the money.
He'd still be
on top of that. So
I'm not understanding your point.
No, my point is like, you could face business repercussions for the things that you do.
Right, but he's always come out and said, I won't work for someone. Therefore, that's why Spotify is a licensing deal for 3 years, right? They don't like it. He don't like it. That's it. He's there to do everything
He's got
his
the money.
way, but he's there to do everything his way. The only thing Spotify has asked him for is who's going to be your first person that you're going to have.
Which they don't have. He doesn't have to tell them.
Exactly.
No,
so he's still following his previous MO, which is I do and say what I want, and it hasn't affected his business till now, right? So even if Spotify were to say tomorrow, hey, due to this issue, we're going to cancel this.
You still get the cash.
He still gets the cash. Listen, he still continues his YouTube show, still continues his podcast.
100%.
So where's your point?
So the point is like he doesn't get those deals in the future, right? He's not going to get those type of deals. Companies aren't going to tie into that. He'll still get these. Like there's a reason why.
Right, but he's not, to my knowledge, right, from what I've seen him say, he's not trying to get these deals because there's plenty of companies that have come to him for his IP, for his podcast, for everything, and he hasn't done that.
Let me ask you this:
because they consider that selling out.
But he has sponsorship deals, right?
He used to have quite a few sponsorship deals.
He still has
Yeah, he still has some that he says in the beginning.
Does he have sponsorship deals from like these major companies when he's still?
But he said he doesn't want them, right?
Okay, but
like
how
many?
If Amazon comes on and says we're going to pay you $3 million for you to advertise for Amazon, he's not going to say no for like 3 episodes.
I don't know,
which they could do.
They could do, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like that's what we're talking about here,
right? But listen,
we're not
he's
talking
also
about
the guy.
Like,
I'll circle back.
Black
around.
Rifle Coffee Company.
But listen, he's also the guy that when they were like, "Hey, we want you," when the UFC got purchased, all right, we want you to do more shows. We want you to go. He said, "No, I'm not doing any shows internationally." Right?
All power to him.
He was the first one that was like, "I'm not going to do more. I'm not going to travel internationally." Okay. So again, it's not about what your point is. It's about the money. He's not going to get these deals.
No. I didn't say it's about the money. I'm telling you,
you're saying he's not going to get these deals in the future.
He's going to have repercussions,
right? And I feel like he's the one who's come out and said, "I'm ready for those repercussions."
Okay, so let me ask you this: like, it could be anything, Edgar. It could be anything,
right? And he's come out and said
it could be anything.
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
right?
So you're saying to me, like,
I'm not saying it to you. He's the one who said it.
No. But you're discounting the fact that there are social repercussions for if anything comes out. Like we're not like say this Planet A things really goes sour, right? And it's bad. Other things come up for him. They go sour.
Okay.
Right. It's not good in the public eye.
Okay.
It's not just about his podcast. It's about he's a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
What if venues don't want him there anymore? What if Netflix doesn't want to sign him to another show anymore? It is what it is, right?
But that's not how he runs his business.
Okay, so that's
so you're like hypothetically what if these people don't want to work
I'm not talking about him and how he feels about the situation. Okay, I don't give a fuck if he's like goes home and he's like, if you don't want it, suck my dick. I don't give a shit if you don't like what I have to say or not. Okay, that's his opinion. That's his prerogative. 100%. Right. So I'm on the same page with you there.
Okay.
But I'm telling you that there's going to be repercussions regardless if in the public eye it comes off what he's been doing is not good in the public eye. That's all.
Right. So let me be the bridge here.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me be the bridge here. So I get what you're both saying, and at the end of the day, no matter what he says, he's still going to be Joe Rogan, right? He's still going to care. He's not going to care what people say,
right?
But also at the end of the day, certain companies are going to pull out and not sponsor him anymore.
Agreed.
Like probably on it. Spotify.
Well, it's his company.
Honest his company.
Yeah, he owns a part of it.
I think like the Cash App is a good one for you to look at.
Okay. Well, I don't know his sponsors. I don't listen to the beginning. But either way, some of his sponsors are going to pull out. That's not going to affect him. Maybe he goes from like 60 million a month, like 60 million viewers a month to 6 million. That's still viewers. He's still going to be making money.
He's good to go. Like,
maybe the UFC says, "Hey, we don't want you commentating anymore." He doesn't care. He's got Fight Companion. More people that want to tune in for UFC for Joe Rogan tune into Fight Companion. Right. And if anything, they tune into Fight Companion while they're watching.
He's branded himself within a particular market
segment. Exactly. That's why he never joined a podcast
better than anybody.
So
not a community.
The thing is here, even if like a vast majority of people cancel him, right? The whole cancel culture bullshit. Even the vast majority of people cancel him. He's still going to be Joe Rogan. He's still going to have the Joe Rogan experience, and he's still going to be making money, just maybe not as much, right? So that's maybe a bad example, but someone like Chris D'Elia would be a good example. Like, let's say,
cancel culture will get it.
Well,
if everything comes out, cancel culture.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say so let's say this, right? Money aside, right?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If people are that upset in New York or Chicago or wherever, or LA or San Francisco, of the fact that he's now going to be coming to their city to do a comedy show, I'm not talking about the money, because he's also talking about the fact that he loves doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that's his passion. Yeah,
that will hurt.
Yeah, but
that will hurt
when you take that away. He still
has
the podcast.
He's not going to do these shows anymore.
Yeah, but he still has the podcast to do stand-up.
What's up?
He still has a podcast to do stand-up. He may not be in front of an audience.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. He has the podcast to do whatever the fuck he wants.
What I'm saying is he still has a platform.
The podcast to do fight companions if the UFC ever decided to cut him.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the same. I get what you're saying. Like, he has this platform that he's created for himself, that he's created this market segment that follows him, this demographic of people that definitely follow him. He has interesting guests and all that stuff, right? He says whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. But there are some things that will be out of his control. Right. And if in the public eye he is found guilty of being a fucking racist or sexist, misogynist, or what have you, there will be repercussions aside from the money that'll come to him. Whether he gives a shit or not has nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
So your point is there's going to be repercussions.
Yeah.
Then I can agree with that.
So
that's your point. I agree.
My point is no, I don't know if there's like I'm not saying that. Just
we don't know if it's going to happen.
I'm saying you like. If he keeps getting heat for anything that he said on his podcast, people are now, like, these mainstream media companies are now, these journalists are now digging, looking for shit that he said in his podcast they can just use as an ammo against him. That's what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would even compare that to and I'm not sure if you know this, but the PewDiePie situation where they took clips from all of thousands of blogs that he had done, put it all together, and said he was a Nazi, racist, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what they're gonna.
You're gonna see that.
But how long has that taken?
How
long has that taken? That's taken 8 years for him to get from, again, 100 million to maybe 10.
What I'm saying to you is, like, in this world, right? There's we all listen to Joe Rogan. You listen to Joe? Yeah. You listen to Joe?
No, I only listen to specific episodes.
Yeah. So, it's like I listen to
He
Joe.
dabbles in Joe.
Yeah, I pick and choose based on the audience members. But
I pick not on who he has
on there. Yeah, I pick and choose, right? For sure. But I still listen, right?
Yeah.
I'd say that probably the majority of the people that I know who train with me or whatever listen to him occasionally, right? I'd say that friends that I know that don't train, there's a few of them for sure that definitely listen to him.
Yeah.
Right? So, but even if he has those 60 million views on YouTube or whatever it is,
I don't even know.
Whatever. I don't like how many listens does he get on his podcast per week?
A lot.
I'm sure you can look it up.
But he's like number 2 or number 3 on Apple Podcasts or whatever.
I think number 1.
I don't know if he's number 1, but I think he's top 3.
He's up there.
He's up there. So he's top 3. Even at that rate, right? We're not talking about 300 million Americans, right?
Yeah.
300 million Americans are going to get exposed, or like there's a large amount of Americans that are going to get exposed to whatever he said based on what this media like a media frenzy will do to pick up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been on Twitter for like 2 days, and they're finding shit like this. They're like going through YouTube clips of like way back in the day, dude. They'll do that. You know,
they got time.
They got time. That's their motherfucking job, right? So they're gonna do that, and they're gonna pick it out, and they're gonna vilify him.
Yeah.
Right. Whether he's really a villain or not, it's up to public opinion.
Right.
But they see it. They see blood in the water. They're gonna fucking go at it. Right. And they're gonna keep on digging till they get as many clips as possible. Eventually, we're not talking about me and you, Gomez.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, my sister who doesn't know who the fuck Joe Rogan is going to be exposed to who Joe Rogan is.
And if you ever say, I listen to Joe Rogan,
she's going to be like, why are you listening to that piece of shit? Right. Or whoever, could be your sister or or whoever, whoever it is, right? Your coworker that says, wait, you listen to Joe Rogan? That they never knew who Joe Rogan was, but all of a sudden it's just like, boom, blood in the water.
You get labeled.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You know?
Yeah, I get it. No, yeah, I get it.
It's pretty intense.
Speaking of Joe Rogan though, the recent guest he had, what's his name? Jocko.
Willink.
What'd you think of that? I watched bits.
He's
and
been
pieces.
on a couple times.
I watched bits and pieces.
I watched bits and pieces of that too.
So aside from all of his all the like the police talk and all that stuff, we don't have to get into that. But the one thing that caught my eye,
not to politicize anything.
No. So the one thing that caught my eye was that he said,
I feel like we could talk about anything on this show.
But the one thing he said was jiu-jitsu for kids to prevent bullying. Do you guys agree with that? He said kids should do jiu-jitsu to prevent bullying. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it as a anti-bully because like what is
bullying is like having so many ways, like people like cyberbullying.
You can cyberbully, you can bully from a distance, you can, there's just so many different ways. It's not all physical. Yeah. So if the 6-year-old child knows how to grapple, like how is that? I mean, is it because the mental fortitude of the child is going to be different? Then possibly, right? But I mean, I wouldn't attribute it to that.
What do you think?
I don't agree.
I'm in the camp of jiu-jitsu is not for everyone, so that's just that'll tell.
But I do say like I don't agree with jiu-jitsu is the anti-bully, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with children should do jiu-jitsu, right? Or some type of martial art.
So I'm always in that camp, right? Okay. That's like the whole Ronin System concept is that we should do our best to better ourselves no matter where we find it. But jiu-jitsu to prevent bullying is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
What is it like? Is it helpful?
It's helpful. It's helpful
like
for life.
If the bullying is physical.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like, is it helpful in terms of like a piece of the puzzle? Yeah, like, but you need some other things, right? Like, you need a lot. I mean, again, it all depends on the teacher too. If you have like some teacher that just like we're doing takedowns the whole day, and that's
no. So here's
I'm talking about like just like so. There's jiu-jitsu that could help, right? But we also say like what else could help shape who this kid is, right? Yeah. Could be like a good upbringing at home or like a proper support, emotional support system.
Exactly. So here's my thing.
Like Hugs.
Here's my thing. Bullying is like 100% mental. 100% mental. It's all about that the specific person's mental state, their emotional state, and how they think about things, right? That's like 1%.
It could be physical.
Right. Well, yeah, but physical bullying, cyberbullying, like we were just saying, even verbal abuse.
I feel like cyberbullying is definitely mental as well because I mean you're reading everything.
For sure. It's all like physical is not. It's not an aspect of bullying anymore.
Shit. Like it's fucking.
And at 6 years old, you don't have a huge reputation, but your reputation is you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the thing is, when you give a kid jiu-jitsu, sure, for the bully, maybe they'll learn to humble themselves because they're getting their ass kicked every day.
Yeah. Sweet double
for the victim, maybe they're learning that, hey, look, I don't have to be afraid. I can fight. I can do something.
Yeah.
But you're just evening the playing field by adding a new variable. You're not doing anything to the bullying itself, right? So like, let's say Ahmed's a bully and I'm a nerdy kid. I'm a scrawny kid, right?
Yeah. He
comes up to me. We're both jiu-jitsu guys. He comes up to me and starts bullying me. What am I gonna do? Pull guard? He's gonna pull guard too.
Yeah.
It's not gonna go anywhere.
Or even if you do
couple of butt scooters trying to fight on the playground.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you do take him down and like potentially, I don't know, armbar, Americana, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Soon as a teacher, administrator, whoever comes, what's the first thing that happens? You get separated. Who started it? You? You're suspended. What did you do? I called him fat. Go back to class.
Yeah. So like,
you see what I mean? So the bully won technically.
Bullying, like jiu-jitsu for bullying, just it's just so dumb to me.
Yeah.
It starts where the mind goes, you know? Like, if you want to prevent bullying, you got to address the situation, like the fact that kids will find something wrong with you and abuse that, you know? Like, Ahmed's wearing glasses, we're not. Fucking nerd.
Yeah.
You know, we're just going to attack him for it.
We're contact sec time like me.
Yeah. You know, there's always going to be something that we can pick apart.
Yeah.
And if you give them more tools, it's not going to change the playing field.
Shitty, bro.
Yeah, fuck kids.
Kids are bad.
But yeah, it's just I don't know that part kind of I don't know it didn't sit right with me.
Can we Me Too kids? Can we just Me Too the whole fucking
fuck kids,
fucking kids, all of them, just like Me Too them motherfuckers?
That's definitely not gonna work out in your favor. You'll see a tweet saying Ahmed's grooming.
No, I mean, don't be like that. It's like, hold on. It's like,
he's going the other way.
Yeah. I want to accuse them. It's like, hang on a second. Yeah, but I get what you're saying, man. Yeah. I think there's a lot to it, right? So like, it could be like there's a lot. Can jiu-jitsu help with your confidence?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, and like how your mental fortitude when you are kind of faced with cyberbullying. Like, I don't give a fuck, man. Fuck this guy.
You also think of like the curriculum. So if the curriculum is like the karate you see on TV when they're like, all right, you bow before
the flashy
you come
shit.
in. Yeah, and then it's like, all right, there's a cadence, there's a respect. This is how you talk to other people, and the instructor's like telling you how to build your confidence. That type of environment, that'll definitely make a child like mentally stronger, right, and also physically stronger. To not get bullied, right? But do you need, if that was all of jiu-jitsu for kids, then I'd agree.
I think,
but that's not the way it is.
I think you need the sport.
It's jiu-jitsu. Mostly like running around and pushing a yoga ball and takedowns and you know what I mean.
So here's the thing: I taught youth martial arts. It's actually more youth self-defense. Back in Richmond, I taught it for about 3 years. I had about like 100, maybe 150, 200 kids go through. Not one of them has ever had to use what I taught them. And I didn't teach them jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. I taught them like arm traps. Like if you're getting choked, arm trap. If you're getting your hair grabbed, I taught them legit stuff.
Yeah.
Never once have I been told by them that they had to use it. And I've had kids that were bullied, I had this one kid that was like 7 years old, came in and said he had like a 10 or 12-year-old bullying him. And I started teaching him stuff. Never got bullied ever again. Because he carried himself differently. Mm. And I think also, if you take the martial arts aspect of it, mm-hmm. especially with like the old school stuff, like people bag on it all the time, like karate's useless or whatever. It teaches you discipline.
Yeah.
It teaches you confidence. It teaches you specific things. It may not be exactly useful in a fight, but it teaches you things. Even sport jiu-jitsu. It teaches you to be humble. It teaches you that you're not the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Yeah. There is someone better than you.
I almost think sport jiu-jitsu is better for these kids because like sport jiu-jitsu is like I think you talked about this one time, is like the fact that you're doing sport jiu-jitsu, there's a level of intensity to sport jiu-jitsu that you don't get from this racy self-defense, right? Yeah. And I was doing like wait a second, it's not the same as like you and me rolling, you fucking go for a toe hold like I don't know. It's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? It's like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a level of that intensity that you get, and it's the same. But to be frank with you, it's the same confidence you can get from other sports too.
Yeah.
Like you can feel confident about yourself because all of a sudden you're a really good basketball team. You play really good basketball, or you're a really good football player.
And at the end of the day, you're among friends, Ricky.
Exactly.
But on top of the whole intensity and like the confidence thing, there's another thing about jiu-jitsu that really benefits self-defense. And it's the fact that you're getting used to being uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just with the position, like you could have your leg behind your head, but also with the fact that you might have someone's ball sack in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you might be rolling with a girl.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that, like sexual assault predators should start doing jiu-jitsu so they can feel more comfortable. No, that's stupid. That's dumb. It's actually the opposite.
Jiu-jitsu is not for everybody.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not for those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Right.
But yeah, it's a very similar concept. And I agree with you. Jiu-jitsu is not for everyone.
Here's one thing I was like, I got in this and speaking, I think Edgar saw this. I won't talk about specifics about the question or whatever, but my point is like jiu-jitsu does not weed out the assholes. Period.
No, it doesn't.
It does not weed out
the assholes. Look at Gordon Ryan.
Right. Funny you should say that.
Speaking about the king, no, I don't know.
Yeah. Right.
And that's another thing. He's a fucking bully. He's a bully at the top of the sport.
How much of that is bullying versus like I'm hyping myself up to get paid?
He's definitely a bully. He's at the top of the sport. He thinks he's the best, which legitimately he's probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest right now, no-gi competitors. And who's going to say he isn't? Who's going to say that he can't say what he wants to say?
Felipe motherfucking baby.
Take that back 2 times. 2 times.
But who else is going to challenge him besides that?
Yeah, no, that's definitely the only guy.
Yeah.
You got us there, Rick.
You can't have people in the comment section that get bullied by Gordon Ryan because Gordon Ryan says some off the wall shit.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. Hey, listen. I'm not trying to take your podcast where you don't want it to go, bro. But that guy, listen, that mother, I cancel.
We can save that for another episode.
I canceled my Flow subscription today.
Yeah, fuck Flow, man. I never even.
Yeah, because they have the King Ryan show or what?
Yeah, because the King Ryan and some other people on there that are just saying some shit that's not cool.
Yeah, so it's like.
They've lost the El Sayed funds.
They lost it. And I let them know that, too. I let them know, hey, listen, this is the reason.
Hey, fuck you guys.
Exactly. This is the reason.
You guys are ruining my experience.
Yeah, I was like, basically.
The user experience is horrible.
Hey, man. I was like, hey, read the fucking room, guys. Your shit's canceled. Boom.
But no, yeah, like shit like that. It's just. I don't know, man. It's
yeah, you're right. But it doesn't weed out the assholes. I mean, listen. We train with fucking assholes. Depending on the day, I could be the asshole. Who knows? No, I'm just saying. Like,
look around the room, you don't see the asshole. You're
the asshole.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice. Wait a
second.
No, fuck.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like it's like we see it. You see it like where, like the high level belt that beats the shit out of the new white belt when they come in, right? Is that fucking cool? That's not cool. Like crushing the new white belt, just like to.
Well, it also depends on the extent, though. Like, are they treating it like Mundials, or are they just being like, I don't really understand if I should like slow down or
no?
Because sometimes I feel that way.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but like, let me just help the people that don't know what we're talking about.
Explain it, because I can't explain it.
So like sometimes I feel like the asshole. Which I'm okay with. I'm okay being an asshole. But sometimes I do feel like an asshole when I'm rolling with like a lower belt or like a white belt or even like a colored belt. And I'm just like, I'm tearing them up, but I'm not going like 100%. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like they feel like I'm an asshole. Right? But then I know what you're talking about, where there are certain people on the mats that come on there and they think it's like 100%.
Mm-hmm. It's not even as bad as 100%. It's like you can.
They just hear in their background,
But let me ask you this: do you guys ever roll with people and feel that they have like you can feel the energy from the roll, and the energy from the roll does not feel right to you? Like, I'm not trying to get all existential.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm talking
about? The vibe.
About?
You don't get the vibe.
Yeah, like the vibe is like you're going hard, but you're going hard with kind of like this ain't about us getting better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So when I can tell when you're rolling with somebody who's like brand new, I've seen some people who's rolling with some brand new. It's like, are you crushing their soul to be able to say, hey, this is how jiu-jitsu is. It's really you're beating their ass because this is you need to be able to deal with that level of uncomfortableness, discomfort that happens, and the fact that this is really hard. Or are you crushing their soul to make sure that they know you're the head motherfucker in charge?
Yeah, I mean, when I roll. Especially when I feel that way, like I feel like I'm being an asshole, I make a note of it to be like, I'm going as hard as you're gonna go.
Right.
That's different though, right? Like
but
and I don't just so you guys, I don't ever get the sense that you were ever like that. Whether you feel like that or not, feedback for you. No, I don't get that sense, right? But do I think that they're, matching somebody's intensity is one thing or whatever. Do you ever get the sense like, do you ever like when somebody's going really hard with you, like a lower level belt?
Yeah, and I catch a rogue elbow, and I don't get to like, oh my bad.
Yeah, but do you like sometimes don't match their intensity?
I don't. I actually roll fairly. I mean, aside from like the sporadic speed, I roll fairly slow. Like I'm not going.
Yeah, Edgar's kind of like Romero, where he's like a stone golem until you do something.
Like, as methodical as I can, because I'm like trying to conserve as much energy as I can for when I do.
Edgar does the Romero shuffle step in the middle of it.
For when I do, like, all right, I know that I have the grip locked, my weight is where it needs to be, and I can either jump to side control or something. That's what I conserve my energy for. Plus, if the person in front of me is going to burn out first, then that'll help me to get a deep half guard, mostly deep half guard. The person's going to get like super overzealous and feel me go under, and they think they're going to get an arm bar. And then all of a sudden they're on the bottom.
I mean, I've never had a case where, I guess someone is trying to match my intensity. If you get what I'm saying. So I've never like I've said it before. I've never felt like I've had to go 100% ever, even if it's like
against.
Yeah.
He who must not be named.
I'll never. We'll just name him Shema. I'll never go 100% against Shema, like, because he's the kind of guy where I'm trying to match his intensity.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get up there.
You know, and that's like my whole philosophy behind it. Like, if I roll with like a white belt or a lower belt, that like I got Kimura locked up, there's no way they're getting out of it. I got a nasty side control.
Yeah,
I got my Kimura locked up, super gripped, and like
you ain't coming out.
Like, you know, if they're trying to trying to like throw themselves off of it, like kneeing me in the sack or something, I'm just gonna be like, hey, don't be a hero.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna be like, all right, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna start cranking on them. So like, hey, look, don't be a hero.
Yeah, like that's a really good example, right? You're like, it's almost like it's just a social cue, but you use your words.
Yeah.
Even in the middle of the roll, you're gonna say, hey, don't be that guy, right? As opposed to, it's fucking on, bro.
Yeah.
Well, so
listen, he's gonna learn one way or the other.
He's gonna get learned today. So here's the thing. I mean, that's why I actually talk to the people I roll with.
Right.
Because if I can't make a coherent sentence and have a good, like, an actual conversation back and forth,
then you're rolling too. Like,
I'm going too hard and I'm getting too mad.
Right. Or you're getting too tired or whatever. Or you're getting too mad. You're right.
So that's my thing. I told you about this before. Like, I don't go 100% because I get in the dark places, you know, and that's when I would be that actual asshole. You know, that's happened before, not here, but it's happened before. And so, like, if I can just say something like, hey, don't be a hero, or like, hey, are you double jointed? Like, just something like that. Or like,
because this about to break. No.
Yeah. Or even just be like, you watched the fights last night? You know?
About to show you
like,
how.
Are you a drinker?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you remember that?
Which one?
No. What do you think of the color blue? You know, I'm going to say something to make a conversation. Obviously, it's not going to be something as random as that, but
right. But you're trying to make it, like, keep it playful.
One thing I agree with you that I do as well. Like, if I'm mad, I won't roll. Like, I don't get mad often. I'm just saying, like, if we're rolling and, like, I feel like whoever's intensity that I'm rolling against, they're literally, like, trying everything, like, and they've kneed me in the face. They are pinching my tricep. I've caught a rogue elbow 3 or 4 times. And you don't get to, like, oh, my bad, or are you okay, or something that gives me the
you got to get off the
that I'm just like, you know what? I'm good.
Right.
And I'll head out. Plus, if I'm already angry, I'm going to breathe harder and I'm going to make mistakes. And then I'm going to get caught.
And then you get more mad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like sometimes
I'm at yells.
Alhamdulillah. Allah,
give me
strength.
Yeah.
That's my... No, but I feel like I've been in that.
Inshallah, you will tap.
Yeah.
But I can tell the difference. Like, for me, I can tell the difference between, like, I'm mad and I'm frustrated. Like, when I go against a wrestler that just, like, I've never done wrestling. I didn't do wrestling in high school or anywhere. So any wrestling I have is from jiu-jitsu, which is not wrestling. So an actual wrestler that, like, did all 4 years in high school or whatever comes in and is just crisp and knows how to pressure and, like, stay behind and, like I'll get super frustrated, but I'll try to make that frustration into technique versus anger, because then
well, do you get pissed off when you're rolling, when you're going against a blue belt or a purple belt that's digging their elbows in your closed guard and your hips?
I don't get angry, but I get like then when I get to mount, I'll Superman, because I'm like, yo, this is the same thing, right? You dug your elbows into my pelvis is like squeezing your diaphragm,
digging into your chest.
Yeah. Oh, you can't breathe. Oh, no.
Do you do like? There's times like if they're a higher level belt and they're doing like, or like say a higher level belt that grabs your fingers.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of that.
Yeah, like they're like, if I latch on to the choke, then I'm gonna like whatever. I don't know.
If it's some person, like, I don't know, man. I've told you this before. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard for me to actually, because I've kind of like corralled myself into this point where it's just like I'm more mellow about it.
He needs to see a knife. Like, oh, there's imminent danger.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you should watch me do some striking, some striking sparring, like legit, like, because in jiu-jitsu, you know, if someone's grabbing my fingers or if they're like digging their elbows in, like, all right, but like in striking, I'm like, all right, you know. Like if I don't know.
So
it's weird.
Before I used to get way more frustrated, like when the digging of the elbows. Now, as soon as it happens, then I'll open, and I'm like, all right, so I have to play open guard now because the last thing I want is like take a shower and I got massive welds on the inside of my thigh. Yeah. So to me,
I don't even use closed guard.
Huh?
I don't even use closed guard. That's for bitches.
Shit.
Listen, well, this bitch can sweep, okay? But so nowadays, I'll open my guard and go for sweeps then, or give the impression that they can pass and get get side control or get a half guard, deep half, sweep, and then be like, all right, see how that didn't work out for you? Let's not do that again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of closed guard, I feel like now at black belt, I'm like more hypersensitive about like holes in my game positionally. And I think closed guard is one of mine. Like
by keeping closed guard, and
like attacking from closed guard and like doing certain things closed guard.
Oh yeah, like I can't remember the last time I had a either cross choke or an actual like full on armbar from closed guard.
Yeah, like full
without like it being half a sweep.
Yeah, things like so like that one is like I think also like defending toe holds or like locks in general from like when people just don't want to pass my guard or they're looking for the leg lock when my guard.
So you don't think your game right now caters to those people?
What do you mean?
Versus they're not trying? So like what you just said is like when people aren't trying to pass my guard, so they go for a toe hold?
I don't mean it like that. Like, I shouldn't say it like that. I mean it more like So like, that was like a dick thing to say. Edgar caught me in a toe hold the other day. So
see, I wasn't trying to pass his guard. That was not my goal.
It was there.
My goal was always to get a toe hold.
Well, I feel like for people who can recognize that there's a toe hold there, I leave myself open positionally for that attack.
Right.
You happen to be to recognize those positions well to be able to attack it, right? So that's something like it's a hole in my game for me, right? Also for a hole in my game for me, like I think is like hypersensitive to it as well is like setting up grips from like when I'm playing open guard, setting up grips to where I'm not behind and not having to catch up, which is harder than it sounds. Like I think a lot of people just don't want to. Like I'm open about this right now. Like this is me being vulnerable, motherfuckers. Is like
in the comments, please make fun of this part.
Yeah, like I'm exactly like if we're playing open guard, if I'm playing open guard, or we just get to a situation where we're playing open guard or whatever, it's like with people who know what they're doing, I have a hard time with establishing grips to where I'm not behind. You may not pass my guard, but I'm already behind when you're like almost in a situation where you are passing, and then I have to play from behind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I'd rather like set up grips and then, yeah, sorry. I think it's too jiu-jitsu technical.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was going to say, I mean, obviously we as black belts, we should know if we have holes in our game. Right. You know, it's been almost a decade at least of training, right? So we should know if there's an issue. And people have pointed this out. I don't know. Have you guys pointed this out? But my issue is do anything, like if you get any sort of grip on my right side, I can't go that way.
If you're passing?
Anything. If you're on top in like half guard, if you get me in a half guard on this side, on my right side, I can't do anything. I'm pretty much neutralized. If I'm passing, get a sleeve grip, like better yet, get like lasso, which Jay does a lot, or get spider. I can't go that way. I only pass and I only sweep to the left with my right side. Like if I'm passing, I'm going to the right. If I'm sweeping, I'm going to the left.
The only thing from a guard perspective that I can do on both sides is play butterfly. Aside from that, I can't play. I can't sweep the other way, or I can shoot triangles on both sides. But I can like think of, yeah, it's just like, but that comes down to a sense of drilling. Like how often are you drilling on that side? I know you don't like drilling.
I don't drill. But even if I drill,
school of drilling.
Even if I drill passes on my left side, I'm still going to instinctively go to my right side.
Right.
And when it's neutralized, I'm like a deer in headlights.
What if you said to yourself, in this role against this lower level belt, all I'm only going to do is go this one side?
I do that.
And how you do? You pass.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying you can't really like gauge that right now in the past 3 months.
No. I'm just saying, like, yeah. I'm asking if you ever, like, I know that there's, for me, like, I'm only gonna, I want to pick a pass, and I want to only do this pass. Mm-hmm. Like the times with lower level belts is like, this is the only pass I want to look for, right? And so to see if I can hit it or to get better at it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even aside from that, like, when I train, I have an issue shooting to my left, mm-hmm. right? So I can only shoot with my, and shooting not as in guns, but like it's a type of move. So shooting with my left foot forward, like I can only shoot that direction good. When I switch stances, which I do all the time, I try and work that, but it's just pretty much impossible for me to actually get in there. You know,
you judo toss on both sides?
Yeah.
With your hips?
Yeah.
His hips don't lie.
I do different throws on each side, but I can
He's
do
a switch
both sides. Yeah. I go both ways.
Oh.
But no, that's the thing about getting to a certain level is that you recognize that you should have holes, and this is how you can correct those holes. Like, I have a shit close guard, but I only use it so I can rest. That's it. That's the only reason it's shit, because I don't actually use it. I don't
when me and him are rolling and Jay's like, one more, we're like, you know what to do? You know what to do. Close guard. I'm like, dude, I just rolled 8 times.
You know, so like there's certain holes in everyone's game that they need to be plugged.
Yeah, I'm saying it like it's good, because I think it's a good thing to be like.
Yeah, for sure.
To be able to talk about it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's good for me. You know?
Open chat, you know, not open mat, open chat. You just sit around.
I'm just trying to keep it a little bit, you know.
Change the tones. I get
exactly. We've been, you know, listen. There's no more Joe Rogan talk.
All right, what time we got? 2 hours.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Look at that.
What time is it?
It is
8:20.
8:20.
Are you guys hungry?
I mean, you know, I can always eat.
Are you sure it's not Ramadan?
It's definitely not Ramadan. I'm very sure it's not Ramadan.
I'm very sure.
Which, even if it was Ramadan, I would be able to eat in 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Why? Why 5 minutes?
Because the sun starts going down.
Oh, well, I mean, is that a specific time?
Yeah, like
it's about the sun's about to go down in 5 minutes.
It's when it starts going. When the starts.
Technically, it's actually. What's the date today? What's the date today?
The 20th.
June 20th.
Tomorrow is the longest day of the year. Summer solstice. So it's actually probably like another 20 minutes.
So tomorrow we party.
All right.
Have you ever seen that movie Midsommar? By the way,
dude, I heard about it.
Fucking shit!
I heard about it.
Woo!
Who's the director? It's
I don't know who the director.
He's the same director that did Hereditary.
Oh, Hereditary! That movie was crazy too.
That was fucked, man.
Yeah, this movie is screwed up, bro. It is crazy.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's free on Amazon if you watch. It's Midsommar. Yeah, it's about like a summer solstice celebration.
It's a Swedish festival.
Yeah,
but
like
it's
a
got
small,
like a
real rural.
In English or
it's in English.
subtitled?
It's all English.
Yeah,
they're like American students that are going back there. And it's just like
it's
weird.
rated R. Rated R. So you know, family not friendly.
Yeah,
family not friendly.
Maybe
I heard there's a specific scene.
Just because I want to bring
there's
this
multiple
up.
specific scenes that are just like
it's
not like it's you know, it's honestly, it's not even scary. It's just like, wow, this movie's crazy.
Dude, speaking of movies, and going back to that, not trying to be political thing, have you guys seen Just Mercy?
Yeah, it was good.
Dude, that was a heavy movie.
It was.
You should watch it.
Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on everything.
Actually, the movie that you should see, it's like a mini series on Netflix that hits harder than Just Mercy, because Just Mercy kind of has a good story.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah, it's a good tone. Like, but there's a happy endings to it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I mean, just fucking spoil the shit. It's a true story. You can look it up.
It is a true story.
Yeah.
But did you watch the Netflix mini series on
Lance Armstrong?
No,
I definitely did it. 100%.
The Central Park 5 or whatever. It's I think it's called.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What?
When they see us or when they don't. What is it called? I can't remember. But it's that one's hard to watch. That is hard to watch. You're like, whoa, this is. It's you know anything about the Central Park 5? It takes place in the late.
Give us a summary.
Late 90s. 14, 15-year-old kids that live in Harlem. Go down to Central Park, you know, on an evening, and
hanging out.
They're hanging out. Well, they're causing a ruckus down there, but like whatever, you know, they're just causing a ruckus. And there's a bunch But that same night, a white woman from the Upper East Side who's a jogger gets assaulted and then raped and left for she almost died. And so they basically
blame the kids.
They arrest 5 kids and they charge them with assault and rape of this lady. And the whole story is like how they basically were interrogated without their families there, without a lawyer there, and like how like the justice system basically goes out to look for confessions as opposed to
like you're definitely going to jail if you don't tell us what exactly you did,
and like, or like like Edgar's in the other room and you're in the other room, or like you don't hear what this motherfucker's talking about with you.
I mean, he said you did it.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, listen, Max, Edgar literally just said, you took your thing out. Like, they're like, what? He said that about me? And then the other thing about it is like there were so many kids in the park. Some of these kids didn't even know who each other were. They're like, who is John whatever Smith? I don't know who John. Like, I don't.
Like, really, you trying?
He was like, you didn't like he said he knew who you were, right? And like things like that. It's like it was crazy. So
you ever see those? Speaking of like interrogation stuff, you ever see those things from lawyers where they say like, "This is what you're supposed to say." Like, you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah.
Don't actually stay silent. Say, I'm invoking my right to stay silent. Yeah. And then they really can't do anything. And if they do, then they're basically like ruining their own Miranda rights.
What is invoking my right to remain silent?
So I remember reading from this lawyer who said specifically, like, when you get arrested, they don't have to read you your Miranda rights. That's a myth. Mm-hmm. And you can basically invoke the Miranda rights. So that, you have a right to a lawyer. If you can't afford them, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can say, I invoke my right to a lawyer. And then you can, the lawyer basically said, don't ask questions like, can I get a lawyer? Or like, I'm not talking till I get a lawyer. You got to say, I invoke. Or like, you got to actually.
Then they start asking you questions. I invoke my right to remain silent.
Yeah, I invoke my right to remain silent.
That makes sense.
And like, there's more he said. I can't really remember it, but he also said like, what did he say? He had some really good tips. I'm gonna try and find it for you guys. But that kind of shit. Like, if I ever get arrested, if you guys ever get arrested, just be like, oh, hold on.
Call Max. He's my lawyer.
Yeah. I come in with a fucking briefcase.
I invoke my. And it was like, what is all this? I'm like, we're doing a podcast, right? I'm like, no, we're in the police station.
You start setting up. All right, so you got arrested.
I know. Tell us what happened.
So, wait, is Dan Hooker fighting?
Well, Jim Miller just armbarred the mess out of some dude.
Do you like Dan Hooker?
No.
Do you like Dan Hooker?
I like Jim Miller. No.
I do like Jim Miller.
He didn't break a sweat. He didn't even break a sweat.
Do you think he's going to beat Poirier? I think Poirier is going to trash him.
Dan Hooker?
Yeah.
Come on.
Whatever happened to Melendez? Was that Melendez getting pounded on the ground? Mm-hmm. Whatever happened?
He's gone.
He's retired.
Is he? I don't know.
I think
that's like the Diaz bros. Like, once they couldn't work out a contract, it's just like, you can keep doing triathlons, but
that whole team went away. Melendez, Shields, both Diaz's.
Guess what? You got to be able to. You got to fight. You actually got to fight for people to start.
Hey man,
just
fight,
keep
take
caring.
it or leave it.
I'm like, I need Diaz is great, but I was like, I haven't seen him for a while.
I never really liked.
Was their whole thing the money?
Nate Diaz, yeah.
Nick for sure was about the money.
Yeah,
and the weed slap.
Okay, so
that weed shit was like bull crap though.
This is the hard part for me is like, that when you sign the contract, like the contract says you have to do these things, right? Like, even like Marshawn Lynch at the Super Bowl. Hey, you have to sit in this seat in front of this microphone and talk to the reporters, right? What you say is up to you, right? But you're at the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Right.
Every question. He said that like 20 times, right? So Nate Diaz, again, they want you to sell the fight or whatever, but once you get to a certain point, you're the sale. Fighting is a sale.
You got to sell yourself.
But you still have to be there to talk. Now, if you don't say anything, that's fine, but you got to show up. He wasn't showing up. Yeah. And it's like, bro, that's a stipulation of this
the contract, right? It's on there.
So it's like, why? When you signed it, you saw it.
You know what's funny? Have you been keeping up with the Nate back and forth with Burns and Usman?
No.
So when they announced that Usman was potentially fighting Durinho, like Gilbert Burns, Nate came out and said that's a dumb fight. You're supposed to be fighting Masvidal, blah blah blah. Like that's a fake fight. That's a fake title. And then Usman like starts trashing him, saying like, you got destroyed by this dude. You haven't fought for a title ever. You have like a ratio of 1 and 2. You know, it's just like trashing him. And then Burns starts trashing him too. And he's like, Burns' final quip was that he should be thanking McGregor for getting him a payday. And then the only thing...
Ooh, that's a burn.
Yeah, the only thing Nate said was, at least I'm getting paid. But then it's like, yeah, then you won the argument there, but you're not defending yourself. You're kind of going against
you
what
just
you
got
just
paid,
said.
but you're not talking about the title fight.
Yeah, exactly. He's going against what he just said. He's like, you guys are chumps. I'm a chump too, but at least I'm getting paid as a chump.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. Man,
so that fight's coming up.
Usman Burns?
Burns wins, for sure.
He thinks Burns is going to win. I want Burns to win.
I think Burns is going to win because he's like, his striking is crisp.
It's a lot better than he first started, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Really good.
I don't know if it's his striking coach, which I'm sure it is.
Henry
but
Hoof
like,
is the man.
yeah. But it's just, I don't think Usman's going to get caught, I feel like.
I don't think Usman will get knocked out.
No?
Nah.
He's got a big old head.
Yeah, that motherfucker can take a lick, dude.
He's been taking quite a few licks, though.
Yeah.
So that's why...
Who has he hit that's a hard hitter? Who's he fought that's a hard hitter?
T Wood.
You can't count him.
Why not?
He didn't throw a single punch.
It was that, but why? Because he I guess right. He fell out of love.
You feel like...
Because you gotta understand. Tyron Woodley, he's got the T-bomb, but he's never thrown it.
Did he fight RDA?
Yeah, RDA is really small for the division, though.
Huh?
He's really small for the division.
For 170?
Yeah, he should be like 165.
Who else has he fought?
Usman?
Yeah.
So he fought...
Did he fight Rory?
He didn't fight Kobe?
No, he didn't fight Rory. He fought Damian Maia,
Damian Maia.
Dos
Has striking,
Anjos,
but...
Woodley, and then Colby. Those guys aren't really hard hitters.
Yeah, Colby's not a hard hitter either.
The thing is, Dos Anjos is the volume guy.
Yeah, I'll say this.
He will fuck dudes up in the clinch, but he's fucking small.
Dorino does fucking... He's got knockout power.
The other...
Like, surprisingly really good knockout
The brothers hit with volume, too. The Diaz brothers?
Yeah,
they punch
they're
you
volume
in
guys.
your face. I mean, every breath you're taking.
They're volume guys for sure.
Yeah, the only guy that I've ever seen them knock out was when Nick knocked out Robbie Lawler.
Just like...
Yeah. But I don't... That's the one thing. Yeah, Dorino doesn't have knockout power. I don't think Usman has knockout power.
Maybe.
So how would
We've
Usman
never
win?
actually seen good striking from him.
He's just gonna maul him like up against the cage, things like that.
Like a Khabib style?
Yeah, like he kind of.
I don't think he's gonna take him down though.
I don't think he's. I think that Dorino is gonna bring the fight to him. I think
who's cutting more?
Usman.
Usman's
so he's the bigger fighter.
Yeah.
Burns is coming from lightweight.
Oh yeah, he's coming up, but he cut a lot, bro.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think Burns has better strike. Obviously, he's got better jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But he's got good enough wrestling and good enough cardio to outweigh Usman's advantages in those two specific fields.
So if Burns were to win, because we think he's going to win, if Burns were to win, you think submission or on the button?
I think if it goes to the ground, submission, but decision.
I would agree with him.
Decision?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to knock him out.
Yeah,
I just don't see that guy.
Because if you look at the track record of Usman, he doesn't take good grapplers down.
Didn't they train together too?
Oh, I think they're friends. I think they're friends.
I can't remember who the coach
or?
is. Yeah. Yes, well, it's Sanford now, but I can't remember who the coach is.
Racist name?
The Black Zillions?
Yeah.
It seems. You know what?
Not to be political. Or
Today, it's racist.
That's why it's Sanford. That's why it's Sanford MMA. But the coach said, "I'm going to coach them both for the fight, but I'm not going to corner either of them."
But Henry Hoof is Henry Hoof in Dorino's corner?
I don't know.
If Henry Hoof's there.
That's interesting because that issue happened with Cerrone and I forgot who was the dude he was fighting.
Well, they just took it away from him.
Yeah.
It was Cerrone and Mike Perry.
Yeah.
That was a dumb decision.
I'll tell you one thing.
On whose part?
For Jackson Wink.
Oh, yeah.
If Dorino pulls this off, it'll be, in my opinion, the best pure gi jiu-jitsu guy to ever fight MMA.
Easily.
Okay, better than BJ. Because
BJ was a product of his time.
product of his time, and Dorino's won some major shit in the gi, right? Like major.
And no gi.
And like, so they're both world champions in gi, but
yeah, Damien's a champion, right?
Nope.
But he's never gotten gold.
He's never won worlds. He's won ADCC twice.
Right.
Twice, but he's never won world in the gi. And I'm talking about pure gi jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like Dorino will be, in my opinion, the greatest jiu-jitsu person to ever like gi jiu-jitsu guy to ever
successfully cross over
to MMA. Because if he wins this title, he's got to win this title.
Yeah. I think he defends it a few times too.
Yeah, because like you're talking about a world champ, Abu Dhabi World Pro, Pan Am champ. Did he win Euros?
No, he only won.
He lost in Euros to Kron. He kept on losing.
He got he went to the semis though.
He beat Kron in the Worlds.
Yeah,
he beat Kron in the Worlds.
He went to semis though. He got bronze.
Yeah, because I remember Kron posting. He's like, "But I beat him." It's like, yeah,
but when it mattered,
I beat him once out of 3 times.
Yo, listen, but just so you like, for jiu-jitsu people who know, like that bracket that he won. That gi tournament? Yeah, when he won that, was it 2013, 2011? I don't know, 2011 or 2013.
He was firing on all cylinders.
He was firing on all cylinders, and that may have been the greatest lightweight bracket.
And he was young too. He was like 22.
Yeah, so I think he was I think he was in his like mid 20s, but he had like, so they're like either former champions or future champions that were in that same division.
Yeah, it was stacked.
So you had Kron Gracie, who's never won worlds in gi, but he's one of the most, like, he's ADCC champ, all that, right? And he's won Europeans, he's won Pan Ams, everything.
Kron's won all that?
He's won everything except for worlds in gi. Because remember the Sergio Moraes one?
Yeah. And there was crying in the bag, and then he's like, the IBJ champion.
So he had Kron. He had Lucas Lepre, who he beat in that. And Lucas Lepre had already won worlds, right? Michael Lengi.
Stud.
Like Lengi would already won worlds.
And he hadn't lost in I don't know how long.
However long, yeah. Lengi was a fucking tough dude. And then Leandro Lowe, who was right at that next year, Leandro Lowe won that, and then he won 6 straight. You know what I'm saying? So, and then just other people who were in it that would just by chance, who were like, he's never won worlds, but they won other shit too.
Yeah.
JT Torres. He beat J2 that year. You know, like that. Like we're not talking about like that's one of the. We're not talking about just random people here. At least people are like.
Long story short, it was a really stacked division. He won it, and so he's won a lot.
We're not talking about Hafa.
He's made
in Japan,
achievements.
Okay, we're not talking about Hafa in Japan.
No, we're not talking about the Hickson Cup. We're talking about.
Wait, did you see that? Have you seen that highlight?
No.
Holy shit! Yeah. Are you serious?
No, I haven't seen it.
You got to watch Hafa.
They just made a highlight. And
Hafa and Gi in the Hickson Cup.
It's maybe like a 5-minute highlight or 3 minutes, and it's just them just toying around with all the black belts,
beating like the shit out of dudes like 50-0 before they submit.
Not a hot knife. This is a lava knife through butter. Just
shit. Horrible,
dude.
Horrible. Man. Embarrassing.
See, that reminds me of this one time. I was at a tournament with Herbert Santos and Muhammad Ali, and we're sitting there, and we're just talking like me and them and a bunch of other guys. We're just talking, and they were brown belts at the time because they were both 18.
Yeah,
and we were just talking, and then it's like, "Hey, Herbert, your match is up," and he's like, "All right, what do you think I should do?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You think I should submit him real quick, or do you think I should get 100 points?" I'm like, 100 points. I was just fucking with him. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay. He gets 80 something.
Oh!
He just like he would take him down,
no
pass.
Mercy rule.
Dude, he's taking him out. He's going crazy.
No.
He's fucking going crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, holy shit. And this was like a decently high level tournament, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then Muhammad goes out there. He's like, what should I do? I'm like, just do what he didn't do. And he goes out there, and he's just like slap fist, bump hands, flying armbar, and he just walks off. He gets it and he's like walks off. And like they meet in the finals after like a bunch of matches after they've already demoralized everyone.
Were they on the same team at the time?
Yeah, they were the same team. Lloyd Irvin.
Yeah.
Fuck Lloyd Irvin.
TLI.
Dude, Herbert has some fast twitch muscle. It's just
dude, he was a
ridiculous.
Beast. Yeah.
Like his snap downs. Remember he snapped down. Yo, he made Muhammad Ali taste the concrete under the mat.
Dude, when they went at it, they fucking went at it.
Yeah.
Like
we didn't like that's like the thing is like when people talk about TRT Vitor, what about TRT Ebirth, bro?
There's no proof of that. Actually, was there? I don't know.
I don't think there was proof of that, but fuck it. I mean, he's just jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I mean, who else do you know's got a like AR just tattooed across their
Is it AR or AK-47?
One of those two.
Yeah.
I think it's a AK. No, he's got some issues, man. Muhammad's a cool guy. I like him.
Muhammad seems like
he's
he'd be a cool guy.
Yeah, he was definitely the nicer of the two.
He's personable. It seems like on the.
Yeah.
And he's also a massive human being. Like just.
Oh, dude, they towered over me.
Yeah.
I was looking up. I was like looking up at that light.
I'm like, why do you do this? Why didn't you do something? I'm like, you're huge.
Yeah. Fucking sweet.
All right. Let's call it a day. Yeah. You guys got any sign-offs?
No, man. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy and home and with loved ones, and hopefully when we get back to training,
Yeah, just do underground training.
There you go.
Allegedly. This is the way.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing day. Get out there, get hungry, and good luck.